Bum bum. Let's see whether it works now. Hopefully it'll work now. I probably just had that little pre-ramble to absolutely no one. Okay. If that's the case, let's just have a little look. Okay, I think we're finally working now. So you guys missed, due to my fault, obviously, you guys missed a bit of a preamble there. So, today, on top of being incredibly warm, I've also had some Wi-Fi problems, and also the heat is making the camera overheat, which means it shuts off from time to time. So I apologise in advance if at some point in the stream I need to stand up and reset the camera. It happened last stream, so if you were here for that, you know that it's a bit of a mess at times. Alright, so I noticed the chat has been busy before I even jumped on, so welcome to you all. We got some regulars here. We got Alpharon, we got Chris, we got Alex, we got Ghost Rhino. Welcome back, guys. We are just going to try and get on with the same thing we did last time, essentially. I'm going to try and make some space in the studio, because at the moment it's virtually impossible to do anything. Honestly, if you could have seen me setting up this stream earlier and just see the sweat drip off me, you would know that it is impossible to work on the Golden Throne. So yeah, we're just going to kind of spend the evening, just have a chat. I'm going to try and fill up this box worth of sprues, and you know, we're going to try and continue to be productive, even though it's like the same temperature as the Sahara, it feels like. So how are we all doing this evening? How are we all doing? Can't believe how much of a train wreck this the beginning of this stream was. Honestly, I pressed, do you know what it was as well? I managed to press the wrong button. I pressed well, it said streaming, but it's actually go live I've got to press. So, go figure. I'm still trying to work it out. Well, in fact, we are sometimes overwhelming the tier man with comments. It's actually been pretty good, to be fair, Alex. Yeah, I've been keeping up with it for the most part. Last stream was actually pretty busy. The pre-stream comments I tend not to keep up with, so apologies for that. But everything here is pretty good, to be fair. It's not like I have a huge audience. We've got 8 people so far, so I think I can keep up. Let's see, Blood for the Blood God. Hello, how are you doing this evening? Are you melting away like I am? Alpharon, I have the most glorious news. What is the news, Alpharon? Do share. Blood for the Blood God, I feel like I'm in the wrong place. With a name like that, you might well be in the wrong place. I know the Emperor has a lot of skulls on the bottom of his throne, but that doesn't make him a Chaos God. And the Lord doesn't say he's a Chaos God yet. So, yeah, you might be in the wrong place. Chris, here in Belgium too, very warm. Yes, I think all of Europe at the moment is sweltering. We are supposed to have I think we're supposed to have a thunderstorm here in Bristol tomorrow, which I'm hoping happens because this heat just needs to be broken. And it will make things way better for our stream tomorrow night after the summer preview. So we can have a ramble about all the stuff that we'll see. Hopefully some interesting stuff as well. I'm looking forward to it. Blood for the Blood God. Nah, you're in the right place. You're all welcome here. Xenos, Heretic, you know, you're all welcome. That's what she said, Alex. What's that, Chris? I just set them bussy. Alpharon, I have been forecast for rain. Rejoice, brothers. Well, I hope we are there with you soon, Alpharon, because honestly, this is too much. We are breaking records here in Bristol. I think in the past, something like 1976, we got up to 35 degrees, but today is, I want to say today is like 36 degrees. So yeah, I'll also apologise that a lot of this stream will probably be me complaining about the extreme heat, you know. It really doesn't help that this studio has really good insulation, so it holds the heat really well. You know, if you can't already tell by the absolute sheen I have at the moment. King Pignut, hello, how's it going? YouTube forgot to tell me about this stream. Do you know what, King Pignut? It's probably because I was late again. And today's excuse is me pressing the wrong button, having a 2-minute preamble to absolutely no one, and then realising I didn't press go live. We were also plagued by a few Wi-Fi problems, but they seem to have sorted themselves out because the kbps looks pretty good. But welcome. Thank you for tuning in either way. Looks like you had to go out of your way to find tonight's stream. Ghost Rhino, the King in Black says otherwise. There's no kings here, only emperors. Thank you very much. All for own, same here in Doncaster. Yeah, well, the UK is just smothering right now. I still thought I'd come on and try and get some stuff done for today's stream. I know it's just going to be me throwing pieces into the sprue box again. But, you know, I've got some people to talk to while I'm doing it. So, yeah. Blood for the Blood God. Well, I'm not here for the Emperor. There'd be no Berserk World Eaters, lol. Well, do you know what? Blood for the Blood God? If you weren't here last stream, you probably missed that this diorama is going to feature some chaos in a very small capacity. We are going to have a few little Easter eggs. We've covered it quite a few times now, actually, probably to quite an exhaustive measure. But at some stage soon, we will have an Alpha Legion. And what else are we going to have? We're going to have the little Nurglings as well. So there will be some chaos representation on this diorama. I've just got to say, for my time here, that wall seems even more massive next to the pyramid. It's pretty big. It is pretty big. You can obviously just about see behind me. These little fellas here are Custodes. And look how small they look. And look how hot and sweaty I look. Wow. But yes, the wall is pretty big. The idea was to help show the scale of the throne room. Even though, in my mind, this is only a tiny portion of the throne room. This is the area that would sit right at the top of the pyramid. I know I have a rather large pyramid in front of me, but in my mind, this would be sat on top of an even bigger pyramid. So the front of the diorama, I can imagine, would have stairs that just go down for, I don't know, a mile. And you'd have other little landings and all the other stuff going on. So yeah, the wall is just there to kind of help show the scale, even though it's meant to be even bigger. What else do we have here? Nox Minis. I honestly thought you had a green screen behind you for a second, lol. Nope, no green screen here, just 3 years worth of work, which we are hoping to get mostly done by December. Now, the past week we've had no progress, because it's just far too warm to do any work here. But what I'm hoping is when the heat dies, hopefully this weekend, our next stream, well, actually not our next stream, because, wait, where would it be? No, because the next stream is the summer preview, so I'm probably not going to do any painting while the summer preview is on. But maybe our stream next week, we will get back to doing some painting. We've got loads to do, edge highlighting, we've got cables to paint. You know, we have our work cut out for us. So, plenty to do, plenty to stream. All for own lol. Chris, you need some normal humans, perpetuals not spoiling butt. What do you mean by that, Chris? Some normal humans? Some normal humans in the diorama? There will eventually be plenty of those. But, you know, we're going to have one big perpetual sat on his throne. Lord Anderson, it's been 3 years, my lord. I mean, by the throne. It has. But if I was to kind of quantify that, I would say that it's not 3 years worth of solid work. So it's not, 3 years, day after day after day after day after day. It's 3 years worth of the hobby time that I have to sit down and work on it. So some days, weekends, I probably get like 3 or 4 hours, I guess. and then weekdays would be maybe an hour tops, I think. So yeah, it's like 3 years worth of hobby time, let's say. And there's still plenty more to do. Alex, happily Nordic people don't turn murderous when they overcook. We're all doing it here, though. We are doing it here. Traffic on the roads. You make one mistake, people are going to shout at you. It's that hot. People are losing their cool and losing their patience. Blood for the Blood God. Well, it's further along than my Chaos Titan build. Did you start yours 3 years ago, Blood for the Blood God? Because if you did, then yeah, maybe so. But if not, then you're probably more ahead than me. Gamland, hell yeah, it looks even more impressive with you for scale. Thank you very much. It doesn't all fit in the camera, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, because I don't have enough space in this room to push it back far enough so that it all fits in. So obviously we just got like a fraction here. And I did adjust the camera, so there's probably less of it in than there was last stream. But it is pretty big. I've mentioned on previous streams that one of the issues is when I make a video, it's quite hard to show how big it actually is, because I feel like even in the videos it still looks kind of small. But yeah, when you see it up close, it takes up a lot of space. I guess, yeah, having me next to it as well does a good job of showing you just how big it is. Brits do. All for Own is completely correct with that. In book 2 and 3, the size of the throne room is described. Yeah, I still gotta, I gotta catch up, haven't I, Chris? I have touched on it that I'm behind in terms of lore. So yeah, as much as I love the hobby and I love building dioramas, building scenery, I wouldn't say that I'm someone who's 100% up to date with the lore. I'd say I'm probably a little bit further behind. I do like the books, I do like reading, I like Warhammer books. I'm just, 1, incredibly slow at reading, and 2, I've kind of been working my way through audiobooks at the moment, Black Library, and some of you probably know, I'm big on Caiaphas Cain, not Caiaphas Cain, Caiaphas Cain at the moment, so that obviously has nothing to do with the throne room. But yeah, eventually I hope to catch up lore-wise, basically. Getting adverts on my own stream. Blood for the Blood God. Just a year, still trying to figure out parts and make the upper portion a rotating kill team board. Well, that sounds awesome. I guess you've got to take the time you need, Blood for the Blood God. It's important sometimes to give yourself a break. Definitely with this project, there's been times that I've had like 2 or 3 week breaks at times, just because you need it sometimes, and sometimes you need to work on something else, so don't be afraid to pick up a Space Marine and paint a Space Marine, a Chaos Space Marine. Ghost Rhino, using House Cawdor for religious zealots could work well for regular dudes. That's actually a good idea, Rhino. I have been thinking about using some Necromunda stuff in this board. Well, not just thinking about it, I do have some models lined up in the pile of shame, as it were, ready to go on this board. I just need to paint them. One of my favourites, actually, that I've mentioned before is the Relic Peddler. There's a resin character for the Necromunda game, and he's got his little cherub, and he's peddling relics, basically. He's got 1 leg as well, if I remember rightly. He looks really cool. Building Space Wolves while I watch. You were doing that last time, Alpharone, weren't you? You made some progress last time. I imagine you've still got a few left to build, though. Chris, yes, it is a must for now. Do an audiobook while you build. That's what I do. To be honest, Chris, that's what I'm going to have to do. At the moment, I use them as a bit of a sleep aid. So I'll put on a book and I'll listen to a couple of chapters and fall asleep. But what I'm thinking of doing now is, when it's safe to build, when it's not this hot, I'll probably start listening to more audiobooks, and then I can take in the lore as I build. Also, it's much quicker for me than reading, honestly. I'm such a slow reader. Alex, who couldn't use a Chris Vector 0.45 in the supermarket now and then? A Vector 0.45, Chris? Chris, Alex, you want to elaborate on that? Big Brain Motorgates. There's the green name. There's the dastardly green name. And the first thing he wants is those motors. I've been absolutely hounded by Big Brain to put motors on the gate, but there's no point because nothing's going to go through it. There's going to be no diorama on the other side of it. I'm not going to build more rooms. It's big enough as it is. Chris, me too. It's just a good way of consuming lore, I think, while you're painting. It's just taken me ages to realise that. It has. Yeah, but it's a good idea. I apologise in advance again because you're going to hear slurping and drinking. There is no way I can go through another 2-hour stream without some juice, because it is hard work. I was dripping by the end of the stream earlier this week. Okay, and we're going to try and get a few more sprues done because I did get distracted. I say this every stream. I get distracted by you guys, and then I end up doing way more yapping than being productive. Big Brain, it is my greetings, it is. I would be disappointed if you started a conversation in any other way, Big Brain. I would be utterly disappointed. Blood for the Blood God, I've got tons of minis to work on, but I enjoy bigatures much more. That is one of the problems, Blood for the Blood God, and I can relate to you with that. I've got so many other miniatures that I would, I do want to get around to painting at some stage. But I find that my main interest lies in scenery and kind of bigger builds. It's just one of those things. I think I could boil it down to when I was younger, reading all the White Dwarf magazines and seeing the scenery that was in them and all the terrain, and not really having the space to make it. Now that I'm grown up, let's say, now that I'm a grown up, I've got the space to do it. So I guess that's why I'm drawn to it, really. Not that it's not good to paint just an individual miniature from time to time. It kind of takes the pressure off, I suppose. Big Brain. Bye, can't say. Oh, is that you signing off, Big Brain? That's fair enough. If you need to go, you need to go. You are all welcome to come and go as you please. And realistically, I'll probably still be sat here chatting in another 2 hours. But it's nice to have you guys for another stream. Another hot and sweaty stream. The main reason I'm looking forward to it cooling down is so I can get on with some proper stuff, though. Because we made some good progress on the cables last week. Week before that, we also made some progress edge highlighting. So I do want to get back to being able to get stuff done, because at the moment it's just, even though this is productive, even though this is clearing space for me to move around the table and be able to work more efficiently, it doesn't feel like an accomplishment sometimes. It's not like getting some painting done. But yeah, as I said, it's supposed to break tomorrow, so I'm hoping that tomorrow, well, after that, obviously, because we're going to try and watch that summer show, see if I can find anything that might interest me. Got big high hopes for Necromunda. The regular guys here will know that I do like Necromunda. That's kind of my main distraction. When I'm not working on the throne, I want to build something related to the Ash Wastes or the Underhive. King Pignut, the other day I had to stop building those Havocs for my sanity because the parts kept slipping out of my fingers in the heat. Yeah, it's gonna do that, King Pignut. It's so bad, man. It's so bad. I don't even know what I look like at the moment. I guess it's kind of a good thing that there's not much detail on this camera because I'm just a greasy, sweaty mess right now. It's also lucky that most of the pieces on these sprues are pretty chunky, so they're not slipping out of my fingers. I'll avoid any very small parts, lest I follow in your footsteps, King Pignut. Chris, 4 cables is progress. Yeah, it's all progress when the diorama is this big, Chris. It's all progress when it's this big. And I did warn you all that building was way quicker than painting. I'm a slow reader and a slow painter. But, you know, that is a fair call. Next, the Sci-Fi 45 gun from the new Total Recall with Colin Farrell. Totally new arranged blowback action that pulls the gun up and pulls the gun down and not up. That sounds pretty cool. I think you may have lost me a little bit in terms of how it's related, but it does sound pretty cool. Blood for the Blood God. I want to get into Necromunda. Where do I start? Right, do you know what, Blood for the Blood God? You might be asking the wrong person, because much like 40k, I don't actually play any of the games. For me, it's all about building terrain, building scenery, and painting miniatures. Unfortunately, I just don't have enough time to play, you know. I also... well... got one friend who's into Warhammer. I don't think I could convince him to get into Necromunda. So yeah, I'm kind of limited, but it's mainly time-wise. So my suggestion would be just buy a gang that you like the look of and paint them up. I'm sure you can find somewhere you can game if you're near a built-up area. But that's what I would do. That's what I do. Ghost Rhino, why is it more fun to put models together rather than painting them? I got to finish painting my Felagor Ravager, going to play them as Corn Corrupted Delac Gang. That sounds awesome, Ghost Rhino. Why is it more fun to put models together? I think it's because you have that potential to customize them. Well, that would be the experience for me, because I don't often build things the same way as the instructions lay out. I kind of like to make it my own, I guess. So maybe that's where the main bulk of enjoyment comes from. But it's different for everyone, I think. Ghost Rhino says the Hive War box is a good start. That is a good call. It does have all the rules in and everything else that you need. But while we are on that note, I am pretty sure that tomorrow we are going to get a new box for Necromunda, or a little look at a new box. And it's supposed to be well, from what I've heard, I'm just going by what's going around on YouTube, but it's supposed to be a new set of rules, so I don't know whether it's worth holding off for the time being and potentially investing in a new starter set with a new rule set, because otherwise you're going to get into the hobby and you'll have old rules, and then you'll have to pay again for new rules. Slippery when wet, ouch. Right now, yeah. Right now, honestly. It's like I just got out of the shower, to be fair. That's why I'm waiting for this to die off, so we can actually get some hobbying done. Because most of these streams at the moment are just, a chin wag. Which is great, but, I want to show you guys some progress as well. Blood for the Blood God. Building is more fun, then I inevitably end up bashing halfway through painting again. Well, the thing is, you just got to enjoy the hobby, whichever way you want to enjoy the hobby. If that involves half painting a miniature and then deciding you want to do some more converting, so be it. As long as you're having fun. For me, it's a case of start a project, don't finish a project, start another project, get distracted, go back to the first one, and so on and so forth. So that's why with this project I'm trying my best to make good chunks of progress on it, and it's definitely the Warhammer project that I've spent the most time on ever. So getting this done will be a real achievement for me, and I'll be over the moon. Blood for the Blood God. Rules? I don't even have rules for the 3 armies I've got. Do you not play Blood for the Blood God? Are you just here for the painting and the building as well then? Because I think we've got a little bit of a group in terms of that sort of style of hobbying. I did play a long time ago when I was a kid. I don't even know what edition. I guess it was 3rd edition when I got into the hobby is when I was playing. So yeah, Can't remember anything about the rules. I couldn't tell you a single rule from Warhammer. Still love it though. Still love the hobby. Just don't play the game. Blood for the Blood God. I'm here for the sick builds. Well, you've come to the right place, Blood for the Blood God, but just nothing has been going on for the past few days. You know, it's just been yapping and not much progress. But I can assure you, when the temperature comes back down, we will go for it. We will go for it. You know, since streaming, I've come up with a few other ideas that I would like to work on, but I feel that for the time being, we need to make a bit more progress on the throne before I can justify getting sidetracked. Ideally, I'd like this whole front section complete with all the cables painted, or at the very least, sort of a base coat on them and then washed. And I feel like then maybe we can have a little break and work on something else. Obviously, any other projects won't be anywhere near the size of this, but I do have one for a cathedral. I'd like to make a sort of, well, I guess they wouldn't call it a cathedral, but what's the name for it? But yeah, well, okay, we're just going to stick with cathedral, but I've got loads of cities of death parts that I would like to use. Originally, they were built for this project, but I decided to go with a 3D printed wall instead. Ghost Rhino, Blood for the Blood God, yeah, new box of Necromunda tomorrow. Yeah, I think it's coming, and hopefully it's going to be cool. You know, I'm looking forward to hopefully some new scenery. That would really make my day. I think it's a given at this point that it's going to be reworks of older gangs, which will still be cool, but what I really want to see is more Necromunda terrain, because they usually knock it out of the park with the Necromunda terrain. Zone Mortalis, for me, was a game changer. Definitely wouldn't been able to make the project without it. And the ruined Zone Mortalis kit is also awesome. There's loads of detail in that. So yeah, I would like to see more Necromunda stuff, maybe more cogitators, more little gribblies, because it all helps for this at the end of the day. King Pignut, a friend of mine found an old unopened 6th edition set that he might sell it. What was in the 6th edition set? Is that the is that Blackreach? Was that 6th edition? I was kind of out of it from well, probably from like 4th edition to, when did I get back in? Probably got back in around 10th, I guess. Yeah, I think so. Ghost Rhino, Imperium Nihilus, what gangs do you think they will do? Escher and Goliath or something new? I think you've got it, Ghost Rhino. I think it's going to be Escher and Goliath. They're two really popular gangs. You know, they're kind of like the basic gangs for Necromunda. And any way that they can sell you new models for your existing gangs, they'll do it. So I think it's going to be resculpt. But I think they're going to look cool. I have my fingers crossed that they're going to look cool. I'm just waiting for Cawdor again. Cawdor is my thing. Redemptionists and your basic Cawdor gangers. I think they're really cool. Also because they're kind of like emperor worshipping nutcases who have nothing. They sift around, well, not human waste, but they sift around waste. And they are religious zealots, so I think that's in keeping with the kind of thing I do. Warhammer-wise, at least. Chris, for me it's too warm to 3D print. Yeah, well, I'm surprised. Like, everything is overheating at the moment. Any technology that I'm using is just overheating. The phone did it yesterday, the camera done it yesterday. Well, camera done it last stream. The MacBook actually is dealing with it surprisingly well. Touch wood. Yeah, it's just about finding, you know, since you've got your hobby time, it's about trying to find something you can do in this heat. Hence why we are just sat talking and cutting out sprue pieces, basically. But, you know, we are making space. Chris, Ghost Rhino, I got Escher mainly, originals and printed ones. Yeah, you can have a bit of fun with printing now, can't you? You can get weapons, miniatures, Kind of helps spice it up a little bit, I think, with Necromunda. Ghost Rhino, I need to buy some Zone Mortalis terrain for the doors and maybe some walkways. I mean, they're worth it. They are really cool. And since we're talking about Zone Mortalis, there are so many cool like attachments you can get, like 3D printed attachments that fit in really well with the existing Necromunda terrain. One that I will do a little shout out for, actually, this is not a sponsorship in any way, but I love their stuff, is Sumpsea Foundry. You can find them on Instagram. They do sort of Necromunda terrain pieces that fit in really well with the existing Zone Mortalis stuff. Really cool, kind of helps it add a bit of character to your scenery. So, you know, if you're already into that, I would suggest you check them out. I think you can either buy the files or you can buy the physical prints. Obviously the physical prints are a little bit more expensive, but they are well worth checking out either way. I do actually have a couple of pieces from them somewhere. Not to hand, unfortunately, but if you guys are interested, I can get them out for tomorrow's stream. One of them's painted, believe it or not. I actually painted one, and the other one is not. But yeah, if you'd be keen on seeing that, I'm happy to crack them out for tomorrow's stream. I think this is the first time that I've streamed on a Thursday. I've kind of got into a habit of streaming on Sundays and Fridays, and what did we do? I think we done a Tuesday. So I know that some days are a little bit quieter than others. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out, guys. I'm trying to figure out a sort of rota to stream. You know, so I've got my set days. Because then I guess it makes my life a little bit easier as well, because I can sort of have a bit of a plan. You know, I'm a man who needs a plan. But yeah. And we've only been streaming for under 2 weeks, which is it's not really that long in the grand scheme of things. And one thing I am really impressed by is how many of you guys have actually tuned in, like taken the time to turn up and tune in and watch and hang out with me. I was worried to begin with, because I was like, oh, it's just going to be me and you know, like one other person, and that one other person is probably not even going to like the project. They'll just be there to troll me. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching and tuning in. It's nice to get opinions on the project. I have said before that opinions are welcome here. I know that some people aren't too into critiques, I guess. But I'm really not too bothered. I do like suggestions, though. I do welcome suggestions a lot. And some of the things that we've implemented on this build have been suggestions from you guys out there. So, you know, if you ever feel like you have a cool idea, feel free to put it in the comment section. Or feel free to DM me as well if it's if you don't want to put it in the comment section. Ghost Rhino. Escher models still look great. It's Goliath that looks wonky, and I don't know, they are so split-legged, and their faces are kind of rough looking. I think some of the models for Goliath look a bit off. The one that gets me is not actually one of the plastic models, it's one of the resin range, because they've got the Zerker guy, and I feel like I know he's supposed to be like ridiculously big, but he just looks strange to me. It looks a bit, I don't know, almost cartoonish, I guess. But yeah, you know, maybe it's going to make them look a bit more in proportion for their size, the resculpt. We'll just have to see. It's probably what I'm looking forward to the most from tomorrow's summer preview. The second one being the kill teams. Now again, like the cards and everything will be lost on me because I won't actually use them to play with if I choose to get them. But I feel like the kill teams are a really good way of Games Workshop experimenting with new armies and stuff. Because just like we had Krieg, was it 2 years before the actual big release of the army? You know, people love them, and they must have sold really well, you know, for them to sort of go headfirst into a full range. Or maybe it was planned beforehand. But yeah, I'm keen to see what they do next. I think there's talk of Exodites. I know that's going to please Big Brain, even though I don't think he's here now. And I think they'll be quite cool. I'm trying to think. I wouldn't mind more Imperial Guard units for Kill Team. So I know they've done Krieg and everything, but maybe some Catachans, maybe some Mordian Iron Guard. I know we've been told Steel Legion's coming, so I'm looking forward to that. I want Guard. I want Guard units, and I want Necromunda stuff. And things I can use for the throne, obviously. Ghost Ryan, maybe their forefathers were Thunder Warriors that escaped the killing. I'm not sure what is the lore behind Goliaths. Isn't it something to do with Helmwar growing the perfect slave or something like that to be used to well, as workers basically, I guess. I thought that was the idea, and they had low intelligence, or some of them had lower intelligence. But yeah, I'm not completely up on my Necromunda lore. Before I invested in the, well, I didn't really invest, but before I downloaded the Black Library app, I did used to listen to sort of lore videos on YouTube, especially like Necromunda stuff. But I could probably do with brushing up on my Necromundan lore. Believe it or not, we are making some progress. We've got a little pile of sprues that's accumulating down by me. So it's just going to make things way easier when we go to paint, because this room is surprisingly full, and I don't just mean with the diorama. I keep quite a few things in this studio, and a lot of the time they just tend to get in the way. So by compiling all these pieces into one box, we can make ourselves some room. I know that some of you might think it's a bit of a disadvantage, because if I want to build something from the kits the way it's supposed to look, obviously that would be a nightmare. But I'm not going to do that. I just kind of want them out the way, and then, you know, when I do go to build something at random, I can just kind of like pick and choose the pieces I want. Because I'm never going to build these pieces of scenery as they were intended anyway. They're probably going to go into some goofy build. The aforementioned Cathedral build will probably happen, and I just take pieces as I need them. You know, it's only wall sections and pillars really, so it's not going to be too much of a headache. It will also be something that won't take an eternity to build, because I'm thinking of making it somewhat modular, and then coming at it mainly with an airbrush and pigments. Because obviously with the throne room I need to include a certain amount of detail. So, like, hence the edge highlighting and all the transfers and stuff. But I figure that if I'm going to make a sort of cathedral build, and it's going to be, you know, bombed out and sort of semi-destroyed, I'm not going to need to put too much focus on details. It can be quite battle-worn. Obviously, if I want to, I can put little standout pieces. So, you know, like ammo crates, stuff like that. I can put some other pieces in with a little bit more detail. But for the most part, it's going to be airbrush and pigment. I still think it'll look pretty cool, though. And I am looking forward to it. But I'll treat myself once I do more of this. Ghost Rhino, Zerka looks amazing in my opinion. Goliath is supposed to be about the same size as Ogrim, but slightly smaller. Oh, that's fair enough. My opinion, I thought he was a bit goofy looking. But the Goliaths themselves, I think, are still pretty big. The sort of redesign might make them a little bit bigger, I suppose. So we'll see. We'll see. Chris, don't paint the gate before you listen to the book. Hint, hint. Oh no, I'm going to have to do that now, aren't I, Chris? Especially if it... Well, maybe and maybe not. Because this gate isn't... it's not supposed to be the Eternity Gate or anything like that. It's just supposed to be a gate in the throne room. In my mind, it's simply there for the purpose of letting the Titans in. So the Warhounds can fit through it. But maybe I will have a look before I paint it. It's not going to be all gold like the rest of the diorama, though. I can promise you that much. Chris, I am behind on my cathedral build. I need some more walls for it. Hopefully not, Chris. I've got so many. I bought like 5 kits, I think. Year before last? I think it was the year before last. Games Workshop done the Sector Imperialis kits as made to order. So I bought about 6, I think. I didn't buy... Well, basically, I only bought the 2 important ones, I consider. So you had the Cathedral-esque one with all the statues, and then you had they both had statues, but one had the two bigger ones, and I just bought like 3 of the smaller kit and 2 of the bigger kit, I think. So there should be enough wall sections to make a pretty big cathedral out of them. I shouldn't have to go searching the ridiculous prices on eBay to finish that build. In fact, I'm pretty sure that was one of the best things I'd done, was get those kits while they were available. Because trying to find anything now that is related to the Imperial sector is ridiculously hard to do. Like, it's ridiculously hard to get them for a decent price. Because everyone wants hundreds of pounds for them. And that just isn't happening from me. In fact, there's probably enough terrain in this studio to keep me going for quite a while. You guys could see, I don't know, at least 5 different projects, I would say. From what I have in the studio, like pretty beefy projects as well. And obviously the other project, which is somewhat related to this one, is, well, the regulars will fully be aware of this by now, is the secret room that will house the Emperor. So behind the throne, I'm thinking of doing a secret room. I'll use some more Zone Mortalis pieces, I think, and maybe some custom pieces for it too. And have the real Emperor in his like Bacta tank behind the, well, I would say imposter, but he's kind of there for people to look at. The fake Emperor. But, you know, that's something I do want to do, so be prepared. You might see that soon. Chris, that would, they would smoke the gates. They would smoke the gates? To go with the other ones, it's for... You've lost me a little bit there, Chris. You have. You meant you were building a cathedral too. Okay. There'll be 2 of us building a cathedral at some stage then. I'm looking forward to it from my end, just for a change of pace. Are you using these kits as well, Chris, or are you using third party or prints? Because you can probably get some pretty cool things with prints now, to be fair. I did see some really good tiles that I'd like to use for mine. I can't remember the name of the manufacturer. I will try and remember. I'll try and remember as we go through the stream, but they're really good 3D tiles, and they've got kind of the stone slab feel to them, so I'm thinking of building on top of those. I feel like at some stage I'm definitely going to lose my mind doing all this de-spruing. There's so many bugs. All for own, rejoice, for I have built 6 space wolves. That's quite the achievement, all for own, especially if you've done that since we started the stream, because it hasn't even been that long. I don't think I'd be able to build 6 space wolves in that amount of time. I've also started getting really finicky when I do build my miniatures now. I bought these really, really fine grit sandpaper, or sanding sticks, and I've started to use them every opportunity I can, just to get things nice and flush. If I compare it to how I started building miniatures when I got back into the hobby for the first time, the difference is stark. And making that extra effort is definitely worth it. For me, at least. Original and gone print some. I think that's a really good way of doing it, is having that mixture, because then you've kind of got the vibe of the Games Workshop kits, and you can tie in the 3D prints easy enough. That's kind of what I mean with the Zone Mortalis stuff, because there's lots of 3D designs that you can fit in really well, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. You know, they've all got that same aesthetic. I meant the gate. It's gonna look great. It fit with the other gate. Ah, thank you, Chris. I hope so. I'm kind of dreading painting it, to be fair. The gentleman who built the gate for me, designed it and printed it, Frankie, he put so much effort into the gate, you know. He, with all his designs, and he also broke it into manageable pieces so I'd be able to construct it. So I really want to paint it to the best of my ability and kind of do it justice. I want to put in just as much effort as Frankie clearly did while designing it. So I am a little bit worried about it. But hopefully, you know, we'll get there. The rest of the project, for the most part, has come out well. So I just need to apply that same amount of effort. I am Speed, Alpharone. You clearly are, because what have we... Oh, the camera's gone. Oh, we've switched to audio only. Let me just reset this, guys. I knew it was going to happen at some stage. Whoop. It was going to happen at some stage. So let's see if we can get it fixed. Apologies. I'm hoping this won't happen when when it cools down. Let's see. Okay, let's turn that back on. There we go. Let's see if it opens. There we go. I think you guys should be able to see me relatively soon. There we go. So yes, the heat is really playing havoc with all my technology. The TV inside it as well was overheating. It's just incredible. Chris, I just been drinking my beer, a good cold one, slippery fingers today. Is the screen frozen? It did. Hopefully you guys can see me now in all my sweaty glory. A cold drink is definitely needed today, 100%. In fact, I might need to top this up at some point. What are we doing? Sound is good, and there he is. Okay, excellent. So the thing is, we're not really having any problems with like speed and stuff today. We're just having problems with the heat and things overheating. Yeah, it'll be back to our regular programming, I think, tomorrow or Sunday. It's supposed to cool down here in Bristol slightly, or at least it's going to be like the late 20s, I think, so like 28 degrees maybe. And I know that doesn't sound too cool, but it's definitely cooler than what we're going through right now. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to this stream tomorrow. I think I'll probably watch the preview first, and then start a stream, and then we can talk about what we've all seen, and if there's anything we like. Yeah, I'm just keen to see what there is, really. I did add on my Instagram yesterday that I noticed the 3D printed terrain, the colour 3D printed terrain that Games Workshop's producing. There was different colours for it. So on one of their videos, they had a bunch of red terrain, which wasn't shown first time around when they announced the scenery. So it'll be interesting to see whether you can get it in different colours, or whether they are going to do a pre-painted version and a version that isn't painted. If they do a version that isn't painted, that'd be fantastic, because obviously, you know, you can all paint it the way you want. But the question remains, is it going to have the same level of quality? Because I know that you can see the print lines, and I imagine that even if you were going to repaint it, you'd still be able to see those sort of lines going through it. So I'm hoping that we'll get a version that will just be in plastic, because that would be fantastic for me, and I definitely would get them. If it's nice, smooth plastic, I'm going to get it. Also, guys, I guess a bit of stream housekeeping. If you enjoy the streams, please feel free to stick a like on the video, because then YouTube pushes it out there and there's more of you to hang out with. Also, you can become a stream channel member and support the build that way too. So yeah, a bit of stream housekeeping there. The streams definitely seem to have got a little bit more popular in the past 2 weeks, which is good. I think we started out with about 5 people watching, and now we're pretty much consistently on double digits, which is really cool. It's a more effective way, I'm finding, of getting hobby done. Because I'm so bad at organising stuff, I find that making videos, I'm quite slow at it. So this is kind of a way of me working on the hobby and just kind of getting things done, really. I still want to bring you guys the videos, though. I know some of you probably prefer, judging by the fluctuating subscriber rate, I think some of you probably just prefer the videos, which is absolutely understandable. But yeah, I'm finding that the streams are a good way of me actually getting stuff done. So it's kind of a catch-22 situation, I guess. But, you know, hopefully we can probably do a little bit of both. Also, thank you to you guys who watch and you're not in the comment section. I appreciate you guys as well. You don't always have to comment to enjoy the stream. But, you know, if you ever do have any questions, likewise, you can ask. Feel free to ask, and I will do my best to answer them. Well, diorama. Diorama-based questions. Maybe not any lore questions. Are we frozen? No, we're not frozen again. I thought we'd frozen again. I think it was 3 times last stream the camera decided it was going to freeze. It was a real pain in the ass. Because up until that point, each stream had been pretty good quality-wise. I know we managed to drop a few things on one of them, but for the most part, quality is okay. Chris, I need to make some shorts of my new Nurgle models I printed and painted. You should, Chris. You really should. I feel like sometimes it's a good way of encouraging people to keep working on whatever they're working on, is documenting it and sharing it with people. Equally, I know there's some people who don't enjoy doing that as much, which is completely understandable. But sometimes it's good, you know, it's good, and it inspires other people to crack on with their hobby as well. But it's a good idea, Chris. Michael Howe, what was your inspiration for the throne? Well, that was a tongue twister for me. Well, Michael, my initial inspiration came from Neil Roberts' artwork. He produced some fantastic artwork for the End and the Death Black Library book. And essentially it's the Golden Throne at the in the middle of the heresy, I would say. And I thought the piece was awesome, so I kind of wanted to try and encapsulate that, but maybe a few thousand years into the Emperor being interred on the Golden Throne. So I took his initial drawing and kind of worked from that. But I've made things a bit messier, let's say. So, you know, there's more cables. You've got that religious dogma creeping in, and things are going south, basically. But his artwork was my sort of initial inspiration. And if you're fairly new, this isn't my first Emperor of Mankind diorama. I actually done a diorama that was considerably smaller than this, based on some of John Blanche's work, and I kind of just finished that when Neil Roberts showed off his sort of new artwork, and then I decided I was going to build the Emperor again, but bigger, and now this diorama is like 10 times the size of the first one, and it's got a little bit out of hand. So I'm just trying my best to make sure it's as detailed as it can be, and like just continue to chip away at it, basically. Love it though. Some days are a little bit harder than others. You know, some days you want pieces to be done. For me, it's the cables. They do take a lot of work. I will be a lot happier when they're done. But it's all part and parcel of building something that's big, especially as a one-man band. It takes some time. So I try not to beat myself up too much about it. Just take the time that I need with it. If I get too overwhelmed, I work on something else for a little bit. Because I still want to enjoy my hobby. You know, this isn't a job for me. This is something I do in my spare time. So I want to have fun with it. I want to chill with it. I don't want to make it stressful. I don't. Given the chance... Oh, just chucked it off cutting it. You know, given the chance, if I had more time to work on it, I absolutely would. But you know, I don't, unfortunately. That doesn't stop us from trying to achieve the goal of having most of it done by December. That's still one of the goals. And even if we can get sort of close to that and have it looking mostly painted, I will consider that an achievement. Did your design change with all the things, with the progression of the lore, adding things in, taking things away? That is another damn good question, Michael. Just trying to think of how I can answer that. Luckily, I don't think I had added too much in that needed to be taken away. If anything, we're at a stage where I am adding things because of the lore. So something that we've touched on recently was the fact that the Armageddon trailer obviously was released, and we've seen more depictions of the Emperor. The first in a long time, really, the first sort of new depictions. And looking at that footage and seeing sort of all the cables and seeing the Emperor's withered and, you know, messed up as he is, has sort of encouraged me to make things a little bit messier in the throne room. So what I'm kind of going to add is more cables, you know, more wiring, more cogitators. I'm also thinking of changing the Emperor a little bit and making him look a little bit more haggard. So probably some smaller cables going into his skull, going up his nose, you know, that sort of thing. It's one of those projects that is also big enough that I can continue to add things if need be. Like, nothing is permanently in the way. It's kind of beneficial that I've painted all, well, I haven't finished painting them yet, but all the separate pieces that sit on this board, like balustrades, cogitators, what else have I got? Like vents and stuff. I didn't glue them down, so I can still kind of move things and manipulate things, which it wasn't done for any particular reason. It just kind of worked out that way, but it's worked out, you know, to be quite handy. So I hope that helps answer your question. Mikeado, are you still planning on pinning the minis down once you're up to that part? What am I planning on doing? So there was talk of the pinning, obviously. My main issue with that is the holes, kind of all the little holes on the board. What I've got in my mind at the moment is just sort of having freestanding miniatures with maybe a little bit of glue tag. Because I do want, when it's painted, when the diorama is finished and painted, I want people to be able to have a game on it. So I want to be able to work with possibly some other YouTubers to bring you guys like a battle report or two. You know, the videos probably won't have me in them because I don't play the game, don't know how to play the game, but I still want you guys to be able to have an enjoyable experience. Yeah, so I'm thinking just probably freestanding with a bit of blue tack. It will enable me to change the positions of models, and it won't be too intrusive. So yeah, but again, all of it's kind of subject to change. I'm a little bit flaky, so yeah, you might see pinned models, you might not. For the time being, it's going to be blue tack. Gloom Creature, hey, how's it going? How is it going, Gloom Creature? Welcome to the stream. It's good to have you back. We're just still working our way through sprues, basically, since it's still far too warm today to do any sort of painting. Just chipping away at this, so I got more room in the studio and answering some questions, really. And waiting for the summer preview. You might all be able to hear my dog going nuts in the garden, so apologies if that's coming up on the microphone. He's chasing the foxes. He loves the foxes. Frag-Eye as well. Welcome, Frag-Eye. You got you and Gloom joined at the same time. Good evening, good sirs, and my followers of chaos and destruction. No, that's the wrong thing to start off. That's the wrong thing to start off with. Followed by motorized gates as well, Frag-Eye. You're pushing it. You're copying Big Brain. Mikeado, clear bases like X-Wing bases, but round would be a good idea. That way you won't peel paint with the blue tack. That is also a good idea, Mikeado. Yeah, as I said, I'm going to have a little experiment. I haven't finished painting any of the miniatures that go on it yet, so it's still kind of up in the air. It's just about what's going to look best, really. I do find, you know, as much sense as it makes to have clear bases, I find with photographs for that kind of immersion and for videos, like having the miniatures directly on the board kind of sells it a bit more. I mean, this is probably just my opinion. But yeah, you know, essentially we will see. But that is a good call, and I appreciate it. Michael Howe, a game on that board would be amazing. How would you keep it lore accurate or have a foul Xenos in the room? Well, Michael, one of the other things we've talked about is kind of my sort of relationship with the lore and how flexible it can be at times. So I don't know whether this diorama will ever be 100% lore accurate. You know, I haven't got a webway gate yet, which I need to make, and I haven't made my secret emperor room. So we're not kind of at full lore accuracy yet. And, you know, to me, it doesn't bother me too much if I don't hit every criteria. There will be both Xenos and Chaos in the throne room, but they're going to be in the form of little Easter eggs. So the guys are all well aware by now of the plan for Easter eggs, but we're going to have a few Nurglings, Alpha Legion, Harlequin hiding somewhere, and probably a Vindicare assassin. And maybe some other assassins. So you know, you will see some heresy, but it's about enjoyment for me. So again, not too bothered if it's not 100% lore accurate. Frag-Eye, any good tips on how to add decals? Well, Frag-Eye, if you want my method is what do they call it? Microset and Microsol. That's the one. Nearly forgot there. I find them fantastic. For me, they changed the game when it came to decals, because for the longest time I didn't even bother using decals. I just thought, because I was no good at applying them and they never stuck, I just stopped. But Microset Microsol, also followed by a clear coat of varnish, depending on what you're painting. So if you're painting metallic stuff with decals on, I would recommend like a satin varnish. Other than that, just plain matte varnish will do fine. But yeah, they look fantastic with those. Gloom Creature, Orcs vs Orcs in the throne room at the end of time. I mean, I don't know what we're going to have Gloom Creature. Maybe not Orcs vs Orcs, that sounds like proper heresy. But we could have Orcs vs Custodes, we could have Grey Knights Custodes. I mean, it wouldn't be 100% lore accurate, but we could have like a heresy game in there. I'd just have to replace Mr. Corpsey on the throne there with, an alive Emperor. But that could be done as well. Dank Blast Beats, still planning to do a narrative battle on this board? Absolutely, Dank Blast Beats. We're just going to have someone else do it, because I don't know how to play, and I don't think I'd be as interesting, to be fair. I think we can get some proper professional YouTubers. Oh, the camera's gone again. Anyway, I will continue while I turn the camera back on. We will get some professional YouTubers who know what they're doing, and we will get them to host a game. And then you guys can sit back and watch that, and you won't hear me talking over it. Let me just sort out this camera again, guys. It's been very, very temperamental in this heat. It has, surprisingly so. Hopefully, there we go. Let's see. Bam, bam, bam. Bye-bye. We're back again. We are back again. Alright, how are we looking? Are we back? Oh, just as Big Brain jumps back in. The guy who is motorizing the back gate behind him. No, Big Brain, still not happening. Still not happening. You won't be able to convince me. Ghost Rhino, yep, screen frozen. Hopefully it's not now. Hopefully we're back online. What do we have? Michael Howe, you could replace the Corpse Emperor with a 4-armed Emperor for a Tyranid game. I probably could, but that's just blasphemy, isn't it? That's top tier levels of heresy. But yeah, there are lots of possibilities with this board. That sort of relates back to not sticking the miniatures down as well, is because then we can have a little bit of fun with it. There's no concrete plan yet in terms of organising the battle report and narrative stuff, but when we get to it, we can have a little bit of fun with it. One of the things that does get asked for a lot is Grey Knights versus Custodes, so depending on who I work with, I might see if I can encourage them to host a game of that calibre. Fragai, we are back, Fragai. You've missed the first interruption earlier, was the camera dying again. It's just not holding up to this heat. Yes, he is alive. I am still alive. I haven't completely sweated away yet, even though it's definitely getting there. The shirt is moist right now. I am willing to help. Well, Big Brain, you have already helped because you are a green name, and anyone who becomes a green name, your contribution helps push the project forward. It helps with paints, it helps with materials. Essentially, it's going to help with the Secret Emperor room, which I'm already planning out. So, yeah, you are already helping. And if any of you want to join Big Brain and become a green name, you will also be helping out the project. There is also different tiers, so if you want a custodian named after you, there is a tier for that. And you will get a little 3D printed plaque with your custodian name that will be stuck on the side of the project. So, yeah, you get a little, you get to leave your mark on the diorama as well. Try and entice you all there for a little bit. Fragai, it's so damn hot. It is, Fragai. It is cripplingly hot. We've been streaming for what? What have we been streaming for? Like, just over an hour? It feels like it's been 3 hours. I am so shiny and so sweaty right now. What happens at the highest tier? The highest tier is, what is the highest tier? I put some ridiculous tiers on. I think Valdor is the highest tier. What did I put for Valdor? I think you just become Valdor. That's it. There's one for Valdor and there's one for Markador, so you can just become those characters. Big Brain. So Secret Emperor is going to happen. I think so, Big Brain. When I look at the back of the project, it just seems so empty. And it's also sort of staying true to the idea that John Blanche had. And I think we can execute it in an interesting way without it taking away from the rest of the project. Because one of the cool factors would be that it will be obscured. So for any of you looking at the project from the front, you will not be able to see it. And then obviously if it goes on display anywhere, which I would like it to be at some point, you'd be able to walk around from side off screen and then see the... No way! No way, Frag Eye, really? That is fantastic. That's crazy. We're going to have to sort you out with something very cool for that, Frag Eye. We are going to have to sort you out with something very cool. I think if you, after stream, if you drop me a message on Reddit, because I think you've been sending me messages on Reddit, we'll sort you out with something cool. That is... I don't really know what to say, to be fair. It's kind of blown me away. Well, it just means we can make a start on the hidden room, basically. Yeah, thank you very much, Frago. That's incredible. That's made my evening. That's made my hot, sweaty evening worth it. You're also the head of the Custodes, so, you know, wear that title proudly. Yeah, I can also share with you the idea for the secret room. It's funny actually, because I think before you jumped on, we kind of talked about Zone Mortalis and these little like 3D printed pieces that you can use that blend in really well with Zone Mortalis. And I've actually got some in mind for the hidden room. It's going to be a lot more techie looking though than sort of our main portion of the build, let's say. And it's not going to be as gold, so I'm thinking we'd be a little bit more sparing with the gold, because we don't want to overpower it. You'll do fine. To be fair, with you guys behind me, I think the project is going to go really well. You know, I've said it on so many other streams, but the support that I've had for the project has been phenomenal. And the sort of like little community that I have cultivated around it, it's just like a really nice, decent group of hobbyists. So yeah, like I am very, 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 very thankful for it. And it's kind of cool that you guys tune in to watch me stutter my way through a live stream. So yeah, it's incredible, really. Because you know, when I started this out, so when I back like 4 years ago, after the pandemic, when I sort of joined Instagram and I was working on my first Emperor, I never expected the work that I was doing to sort of pick up as much momentum as it did, because I was coming from a place where so I used to like paint and draw and stuff, and I'd always put my work on Instagram and it would never really go anywhere. You know, I had an account with like 300 followers, I think, at some stage. So when I sort of started off doing my dioramas, you know, I got to 200 really quickly, which surprised me, and then it sort of rolled up to 1,000, and from there it just absolutely snowballed. And it's just been the coolest thing, really, because it means I can work on the hobby that I love and sort of share it with you guys as well. Fragai, isn't Valdor the King in Yellow? Well, we are still waiting for that book, aren't we? From Dan Abnett. I'm pretty sure, like, midway through last year we were supposed to hear more about it. And I don't know what's happened with that, because it feels like it's just been brushed under the rug now. I don't know whether there's had to be, he's made changes, or whether he's been forced to make changes. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, really, because they were kind of hyping it up for a while there. Big Brain is absolutely bragging about the temperature again. Norway's getting the good climate at the moment, nice and temperate. Not here. Look, can you see the kind of strand of hair as well? I've got the curl, I've got the sweat curl going. Chris, would it not be made out of blackstone to dampen the psychic onlookers? I'm sure a portion of it would be, Chris. I think what we're going to focus on first, because some of these, some of what you mentioned, rightly so, can be conveyed through painting. So we can always kind of like paint in a sort of Blackstone-esque style and convey it that way. But we've got to build it first. And I think I've got a little bit of an idea of how we'll do it. So also sort of regressing back to that, one more point. The Zone Mortalis stuff, it's kind of made out of metal, or it looks to be like it's made out of metal and sort of stone. So we can paint the inners to look like a sort of black stone, possibly, surrounded by some kind of metal. Mike Chiado, it's freezing here where I am. Jealous of the British and their heatwave. Mike Chiado, I don't know whether you would be. Honestly, at this point in time, I think if you were here, you would probably be regretting it. So, I actually have a friend who, again, I have met through this hobby, lives in Sweden. He is over here at the moment in London with his partner, and they are melting. So he's decided to come over at the hottest point in the year, like record-breaking temperatures, and he says it's too much. And he's right, so, yeah, Mike Yado, I think it might be a little bit too much. Frageye, I think the book is done, but Dan said we'll have to wait for GW to release it. Well, that's the thing. But also, Frageye, I would kind of expect that surely, like, Games Workshop sort of allows Dan Abnett to say what he can about the book. And I feel like even sort of allowing him to mention the book, you would sort of expect that it would be coming fairly soon. But there's been radio silence, and we've had Black Library celebrations and stuff. Just the other day we had an article about new books that are coming to Black Library. Where's Pandemonium? Probably will happen eventually, but it just seems weird that they kind of hyped it up and now there's nothing. Maybe they don't want to compete with Grand Theft Auto 6. Maybe they want your full attention. Because come November, I feel like there's not going to be many people on the stream. If you play video games like I do as well in your spare time. I will try not to get completely distracted by it. I will try and get on and get the stream going and get some more painting done. Yeah, Frageye, it's way too hot right now and it's only June. That's the crazy thing. That's sort of the worrying thing about the temperatures at the moment is we're in June. Fair enough, the end of June, but these are record-breaking temperatures in the UK. And it's too much, The main thing for me at the moment has been keeping like the pets cool, like keeping your dogs and keeping your animals cool, because it's quite dangerous for them. I feel like we can kind of adapt in a way and douse ourselves with water and have a cold shower and everything, but poor little pets, you've got to make sure they are nice and cool. That meant me moving the fan around the house for most of the day today. Dog moves, fan moves. Big Brain, I like Norwegian weather. Do you know what, Big Brain? I'm sure I would like Norwegian weather too. I feel like I would just like, rain or snow right now would be perfect. I would really enjoy it. That would kill the hype train. I think it would, Frageye. It probably would. Maybe, I don't know, I can't say I know a lot about advertising, but I suppose if you talk about something and then don't talk about it, you kind of build up the expectation for it, you build up the hype for it. So yeah, we'll see. I think it's going to be pretty big revelations in that book. Big Brain, November is the month I was born. Born in the cold Norwegian winter. You wouldn't last in this heat then, Big Brain, not at all. Nice, Big Brain, to you Scorpio as well. We're going to get into the horoscopes here. I think so. You guys going to bring up the horoscopes now. Crack out the horoscopes. What does my horoscope say about my lack of hobbying at the moment? I need it read to me. So, what should we get back to then? So, I think like Monday, we're going to have a cooler day, and possibly, well, actually Sunday is going to be a stream that I do. So, for any of you who are enjoying the streams and want to tune into the next ones, we'll definitely be doing one tomorrow for the summer preview to talk about that stuff. And we're also going to do one about, we're going to do one on Sunday when things cool down, because hopefully I can do some more work on the project then. But what would you like to see? Are we going to go back to cables, or are we going to go back to edge highlighting? Unfortunately, for the time being, it has to be one of those two, because I need to see some progress on those. But which would you rather see? Because I can assure you, you're not going to be watching me de-sprue stuff. You might tomorrow, but Sunday, I think we need to make some much needed progress. I'll be playing D&D in the shed with AC tomorrow. That makes me jealous, Big Brain. I need AC. If the weather keeps doing this, I'm going to need to pay to install AC down in the studio. It would be a gift right now, I tell you, to have some AC. Alex, are you planning something special painting for the Titan door? Yes and no, Alex. I want the gate, the Titan gate, to stand out, but not too much that it dominates the rest of the project. It's more so, pardon me, it's more so that I would like it to have more stone colours and more sort of, pardon me again, sort of lead belcher colours. We'll have gold on the Aquila, but I want it to just break things up a little bit, because I feel like if it was gold, everything is just one big block of gold, isn't it, at this point? So what we're going to do is tie it in with, I don't know if you guys have seen some of the earlier pictures of the project. I've got two statues that sit at the front of the board. They're from Age of Sigmar, and they kind of have like the resting Gryph-hounds on them. And what I'm going to do is paint the gate to match the stonework of those. So then eventually when we have all our little gribbly bits set up on the diorama, all the stonework will kind of tie in and have a sort of similar vibe. So yeah, that's how I'm going to paint the gate. Obviously there'll be loads of transfers as well for all the detailed areas and all the sort of metal and computer working areas, I guess. But yeah, that's the idea. Mikeyado, edge highlights. I think edge highlights could be the one. You know, it's looking much better. The edge highlights, I think, are bringing up they're bringing up the level of detail. I did say that the reason I've done them is because the throne room floor, as cool as I think it looks, it's just a little bit flat. So these lighter gold highlights are helping to bring it up. So I think we could do that. I think we could get back on the highlights. Luckily, they're selective highlights as well. I don't have to do every inch of the table. I can just do the little bits where it's needed, and it gives a really good effect. Well, in my mind. This is all speculation. Rover Mars Rover, hello, welcome to the stream. It is good to see you again. Everyone seems to be able to making it to stream today. It's fantastic. I couldn't join the stream earlier because it's still 32 degrees in my room. Rover Mars Rover, we are going through it here. Specifically me and any of my other companions from the UK, we are absolutely going through the ringer. It must be above 30 degrees in this studio. Unfortunately, it holds heat really, really well, and I don't have air conditioning nor a fan down here. So yeah, we are going through it. And we've been streaming for nearly an hour and a half now, and I am slick. I am honestly slick. You know, it's why we have yet another day of de-spruing, unfortunately, because if I was to lean over this, there'd be drip marks all over it. My forehead would be dripping on it. Michael Howe, will there be Titans? There will be, Michael. Again, it's something that's further down the line. What ideally I would like is to have some plastic titans. That would be fantastic, a nice plastic kit. But failing that, we'll have to go down another route, which involves some 3D prints. But we're a long way off yet. The idea is to have 2 Warhound Titans. The gate is specifically designed so they will fit through the gate. Well, hypothetically, they'd fit through the gate. The gate doesn't open. As much as Big Brain would like it to have motors, the gate does not open, but it is designed in a way that a Warhound Titan would easily fit through it. You know, so it's bigger than a Warhound Titan. So yes, the answer is yes, and hopefully 2. But again, a little way off yet. See, there he is, Big Brain. You want motors in the gate. You do, Big Brain. You definitely do. Frag, yes. Chris, I have a Mars Pattern Warhound. That's what I'm looking for, I think, Chris. Eventually 2 of those. But obviously I don't want to go out of my way to get any Forge World stuff because I feel like it's going to be a pain in the ass to build. You know, I'm not really too familiar with building resin. This piece does have a few resin parts, but obviously they're just super glued on. They don't have to be arranged in a certain way. So I don't want it for that reason either. So I'd rather hold off and see whether I can get possibly a plastic kit, should Games Workshop decide to make one, or a 3D print which involves less work than a Forge World kit, basically. Alex, raise the camera a bit. You could stream in a little pool. Do you know, I could hide a little paddling pool at my feet right now. Or I could just sit in one of those sandpit shell things and fill it up with water. I'm not sure you guys want to see that though. You don't want to see me sat in my swimming trunks. Legio Ignatum. I'm not too familiar with Legio Ignatum, Chris. You'll have to send me some photos. You've got my Instagram. Send me some photos when you get the chance. It'd be cool to have a look. Also gives me an idea of how I would like to paint mine, so I would appreciate it. Oh, you printed it, Chris. You printed it. I think that's probably the way we're going to go, in all honesty. I would like to hold out a little bit longer, because obviously a plastic kit with all the little details and gribblies would go down a treat. But, you know, failing that, we will probably go down the 3D print route, just like we did with the gate. Ghost Rhino, did you hear that the Scots drank up the beer in Boston because of the World Cup? What legends? I did hear about that. The Scottish love their beer. It's impressive. It's really impressive. They went for it. Apparently, I heard some good things. I heard about them. Now, I don't know whether they're true or not, but I heard about the you know, spaces being left relatively tidy, and you know, a lot of respectful behaviour, which is fantastic. Shout out to the Scots there. Many of you been following the World Cup? I know England played Ghana the other day, and it was supposedly pretty boring. I have not been tuning in to any of them. I kind of have a loose interest in the World Cup, but for some reason just I never really take the time to sit down and watch it. Regular football definitely isn't my thing, but you know, the World Cup being such a big thing kind of, you know, piques my interest a little bit, I guess. Oh, Big Brain, you reminded me, you legend. I completely forgot about that. I got to do that. What a legend. Thank you for reminding me, Big Brain. Big Brain, I've just seen you will miss the stream tomorrow. That's fair enough, Big Brain. You can always catch up on them because I do leave them up. Let me just check I haven't missed anyone further back. Big Brain is kind of my he's my aide. He is. For the longest time now, I have been running these streams and not clicking all the messages. So I apologise to anyone that does leave a message and gets overlooked. It's not because I don't like you. It's because I'm technologically inept. That is why. Thank you for that reminder, Big Brain. I might have to get you to remind me each time, Big Brain, to be fair. I'm so bad at remembering. Norway will play tomorrow, 21-23 with... Oh, I see. You'll be watching Norway. That is absolutely understandable, Big Brain. You've got to support your team. You have got to support your team. And we'll be back here on Sunday anyway if you missed tomorrow's stream. So, yeah, not a problem at all. I like tuning in on a Friday and sort of running a stream because Friday seems to be a day that you're all kind of doing a bit of hobby. You know, you finished your week at work, you finally got the weekend. Some of you have a bit of hobby time. So I think it's just going to be one of the regular days that I end up streaming on. I did mention earlier, but I'm hoping to sort of start a schedule, I think, for streaming. Because then it gives you guys an idea of when you can tune in and we can hang out. And it helps me organise my life a little bit better. Because at the moment, you know, sometimes I don't know whether I'm coming or going. So having a set stream schedule would be beneficial for me too. Ah, that's it, and D&D as well. You've got a busy night tomorrow, Big Brain. Best of luck for Norway. Hopefully you come out on top. That's one of the things. I don't even know who made it, who qualified for the World Cup this year. I don't. All I know is England, Scotland, and now Norway. It was funny because from the studio here, when England was playing Ghana, you could hear all the noise around Bristol. I'm not particularly close to any big establishments or anything like that, but when I was outside, I could definitely hear all the cheering and jeering. But it's Norway and France. Best of luck. That should hopefully be an enjoyable watch for you, Big Brain. I'm going to be watching the summer stream, the summer preview stream, and then I'm going to hop on here and see what you guys think, basically. I got my fingers crossed for some interesting Necromunda. I've also got my fingers crossed for some kill team stuff. I keep hearing Legion of the Damned being thrown around, as well as Exodites. Exodites would be cool to see, wouldn't be something I'd pick up personally. Legion of the Damned, hell yeah, I would pick up Legion of the Damned. And also, even more interesting, the scenery that would come with a kill team release, especially if it's a big kill team release. That piques my interest. One of the kits that I still haven't got around to buying, which I would really like, is the Vulcus scenery set. Mainly because I'd like it for my... what's it? Not Agarax, I always get it mixed up. I always forget my other build that I started and done one video. Atherax? What is it? What is it, guys? I always get it wrong. But yeah, anyway, regressing, the Vulcus scenery I would like for this kind of city build that I'm always trying to get done. Godspeed with your team, Big Brains. Regards from Denmark. Row, row, row. Yeah, well, best of luck. Imperium Nihilus. I'm glad a lot of people from the UK are enjoying my state of Texas in the heat. Grueling, but our beer is great. What's the temperature like out there at the moment then, Ghost Rhino? What are we looking at? It's probably cooler than here at the moment, isn't it? Yeah, it's fantastic that the fans are enjoying it, you know. It's good to... well, what is it? The first time that America's held the World Cup? Mike Yado, need a new Cal Jericho book or mini. Whoa, well, Mike Yado, we had, I know it's actually pretty old now, the Cal Jericho kit, but they've got the plastic one, haven't they? I'd be surprised if they made him again anytime soon. Probably, you know, maybe a new story is more likely, but I can't see a new miniature coming soon. What's this, Big Brain? What's that? A little man rowing. Ah, row, row, row. I see. Row, row, row. Yeah, no, I don't think we'll get a Cal Jericho miniature, unfortunately, because I think the plastic one is still fairly new. What I am looking forward to on Saturday, and you guys are going to have to remind me on the stream tomorrow because I will forget, is I need to order Caiaphas Cain and Jurgen. I need to do it. I've been absolutely loving the books and the stories of Caiaphas Cain, and I want the miniatures. You know, they might sit on the pile of shame for a little bit, but they look cool. So yeah, remind me. Try and remind me. Ghost Rhino, we're sitting roughly, I think, the same temperature. It might have got a little bit cooler outside. In the studio, it's probably about that. Outside might be cooler, but that's sweltering. Surely you guys in Texas are used to that. You know, you must be hardened. You must be used to that kind of temperature. Us here in the UK, we're not built for it. You know, we have a few days a year when the sun comes out and it gets hot, and then the rest is cold or rain. There's still that humidity from time to time. People who come to the UK say that the humidity is what is the killer. It's not necessarily the heat, it's how humid it gets. I feel like a little boil in the bag chicken at the moment. But yeah, you know, hopefully again with tomorrow's stream, the temperature is supposed to cool off here. My weather app tells me that there's supposed to be rain tomorrow, so if it breaks this heat, tomorrow's stream is going to be really enjoyable. And I won't need to crack out the swimming pool. I won't need to crack out the little paddling pool to sit in. Oh, I also, what's that? Sorry, big brain. If you can get Cain now, what do you mean big brain? Okay, so, before I lost my train of thought there, one of the other things I am going to start working on for the project soon is it's sort of a small addition, I guess, but if you look back at, again, when I had all the little bits set up on this diorama, so I had all the little balustrades, some of which I've just cut off this, I will jog your memory, because it is entirely relevant. So, I don't know if you guys can see the little rectangular balustrade sections with the little point on them. What I have intended to do, since I kind of started building this board, is I'm going to have a row that goes right across the front. So at some stage we will have the arches that will cover some of the cables, but I also want these balustrades to line up to the stairs and then obviously the other side as well. And I've concocted a pretty good method, I think, of achieving it. So we're probably going to start working on that as well soon. It won't be a long job. It's not going to take too long. Because I've also sort of come up with a method for painting the balustrades. But I'm looking forward to showing you guys because I think it will help. I don't know in which way it's going to help. It's hard for me to explain in which way it's going to help, but I think it's just going to look better because it's going to match the second row of balustrades and the top row, and it'll just help it blend in a bit more. But yeah, so that's something we are going to do soon, and you guys know about it here first. Since I mentioned knowing about it here first, I've really got to update my... I've been a little bit naughty recently. I haven't updated my Patreon with what's been going on. I don't think I've even mentioned that I've been streaming, which is kind of bad, so sorry guys. So yeah, I'm going to have to go on and do that. Gloom Creature. I'll be playing Necromunda tomorrow in a basement with roughly 100 people playing games. I hope there is AC. I hope for you too, Gloom Creature, there's AC, because that could be that could be pretty warm. Sounds like fun though. You'll have to let me know how it goes whenever you jump back on. We might have some Nordic rivalry, but for my side is still loyalty. Sorry, loyalty. Where did I get that from? But for my side, we are still on the lovely side. Not loyalty, on the lovely side. We stand shoulder to shoulder in these funny times. We do indeed, Alex. We do indeed. I know we had the... what did we have? We had the Scandinavian Wars in one of our streams recently, which was hilarious. That was really funny. But yeah, all jokes aside, it's nice to see some cooperation and supporting your Scandinavian brothers and sisters. Mikeyado, I'm currently painting the Reclaimers chapter from the King books. My off-white looks more like milky tea cream. You can make that work though, Mikeyado. You know, it's like, what do you call it, a bit of battlefield wear and tear. Because white is never really, you know, you have to be polishing that Space Marine armor all the time to have white. I feel like it looks it looks better, it's got character. But, you know. Ooh, I've lost my place there. Gloom Creature, yeah, I've lost all my games this campaign. We'll see if this game will go any differently. You just get hot and bothered, Gloom Creature. You'd be like, God damn it, it's not working! I'm not winning! Big Brain, damn, I used Norwegian by accident. Oh, okay. Oh, I hope I got some Diet Coke left. I'm starting to struggle now. Alright, well, I know it doesn't particularly look like it, but we have actually made some progress this stream in terms of making space. The pile of sprues in front of my laptop is going down. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but all of these pieces that I'm clipping off are just scenery pieces. Because I have a mountain of scenery. I do have a mountain of miniatures as well, but there will be no benefit at all from me cutting all those pieces out and putting them in one big box. Because some of them I probably will assemble to look somewhat like they're supposed to. So keeping them on their numbered sprues is probably a smart idea. But these pieces are, you know, pretty big pieces, and I'm not going to be building them to any sort of specification whatsoever. Mikeyado, hydration break. That's the thing at the moment, isn't it? Hydration break. Should I see if I can get like a sponsor, some sort of named sponsor drink, and then I'll, you know, on stream I'll be like, hey guys, I'm just taking a hydration break, and then I'll make sure I hold it in a way that you guys can see the logo. Just need to get hooked up with a sponsor. Does anyone make hobby-based energy drinks? He has to do another one with a break in between. Man, we'll just do sponsored breaks. I don't even have a sponsor. I have an affiliate link. If you guys are ever interested in new brushes, I have an affiliate link with Artis Opus. They are a company based here in the UK. And I will preface that before I got an affiliate link with them, I did use their brushes, but I use their brushes for all the project stuff that I'm working on. I will show you actually, since I have them right here. I'm also making an active effort to take better care of my brushes, because in the past, well, I say in the past, not even that long ago, when I got back into the hobby and I was working on my first diorama, I was not very good at taking care of my brushes. So now I try and make sure that I clean them off and don't leave them in the water. But yes, this is the kit I use for my diorama. I know this is a bit of blatant advertising here, but you can also get 5% off if you use my code. So obviously in future, if you ever need brushes that are good, that's where you want to go. Alright, advert aside. You must have the biggest pile in front of you. It's pretty big, Alex. It's pretty big. I'll see if I can lift a portion of it up without... Oh, look, you can see a little bit. You can see a little bit getting in on the camera. That's just a portion of it. There's so much more. And obviously, like, you know, you think that's going to get in the way. If that's going to get in the way, think about the rest of it. So it needed to be done. And obviously being able to stream and hang out at the same time is beneficial. What else do we have here? Put an ad for your Patreon in there. I think I plug it occasionally. Spitting on myself. I think I plug it occasionally for our guy. I've definitely mentioned it on stream a few times. I just don't want the streams to be a constant advert, because that's not the point of the streams. Really, the point of the streams is to try and get some stuff done and hang out. I don't want to be here every 5 minutes being like, check this out, check this out, check this out, because I feel like it's kind of sucky and disingenuous. So I don't want to over promote things. Big Brain, importing to Norway is expensive. That is understandable indeed. Things have not been great since a certain decision has been made here. We'll quickly brush past that. But yes, when I send merchandise out, it costs a lot more money now, which is shit. I also have to fill out more forms to let customs know what I'm sending. In fact, it's gotten to a point where if I send a shirt out to someone, you have to say what material it's made out of. They ask you what colour it is, what material. This is crazy. So yeah, but we'll kind of quickly glide past that. That's not a pile. Well, it's only a portion of the pile for our guy. The pile is much bigger. It is. Also, under the table, you can only just about see, there are loads more sprues. There's probably a few hundred sprues, I'd say. So there is a pile, a pretty big pile. Yes, and Chris brings up a very valid point, which saves me sort of rambling as well, which is fantastic, and I really appreciate it, Chris. Chris, being the admin here, he puts in links to some of my stuff throughout the stream. So if you're ever curious to click on it, feel free to. But if not, obviously they're just there. They're there either way. But it kind of helps because I don't need to constantly talk about these things, and we can just talk about what really matters, which is Warhammer. Yeah, there are also things, Big Brain, without dwelling on it too much, things are definitely more difficult now than they were when it comes to sending things out to you guys, especially you guys who are in Europe, Scandinavia, just anywhere outside of the UK. Rover Mars Rover, why, what happened? We won't dive into it. One of the things that I kind of made a little bit of a promise to myself with is the streams are strictly about Warhammer, strictly about the diorama. Obviously we can talk about other things as well, but I'm trying to avoid contentious subjects and politics at the moment, just because, if you're anything like me and you hear about stuff all the time, the hobby is a fantastic time and chance to escape from that. So, we won't go into it too much. Not to palm you off there, Rover Mars Rover. For our guy, okay, that's the pile then. Yes, it's pretty big for our guy. It's just grown and grown and grown to the point where it does take up too much space in the studio, and I have refrained from buying things that are not needed now. So I'm trying to think of what I bought recently, actually. I think the thing that I bought most recently was, I've mentioned them before, but they're the little birds that come with, not birds, doves, that come with the one of the Sisters of Battle kits. I really like them. I feel like they'll look really good on here, so I bought those pieces. But I haven't bought like any box sets or anything. I just haven't bought anything as like a distraction, because I've got enough. Anything we need, project or paints. Alex, I also thought of the off clippings. They must fill a bit now. Yeah, they're all over the floor as well, Alex. That's one of the problems. So after we've done this, I'm going to have to, not today, not in this heat, but at some stage I'm going to have to give the floor a sweep and chuck away loads of the offcuts. Also, we have quite the pile of empty sprues, So I'm going to have a little look to see whether I can recycle them, because in the past they've just been going in the bin. I'm not sure when I've been into my local Warhammer shop that I've seen a sprue bin there, but maybe next time I go in I'll ask. Because it seems a shame just to chuck them in the bin, but hey. Imperium Nihilus, don't forget to look in your Instagram messages. Thank you, you see my Titans. I will take a look after the stream, Chris. Thank you very much. It will help me decide how I want to paint mine when we get to the day that they're included. So I will check that out. Thank you. At Rover Mars Rover, still reasonable to ask. Of course it is. The thing is, guys, I'm not shutting anyone down. That's not what this stream is about at all. I just steer away from sort of contentious subjects sometimes. But yeah, I think we all know what we're on about, and we'll leave it at that. Big Brain, I have a box of empty sprues. What, are you saving yours up, Big Brain, or do you actually have somewhere you can take them? Because here in the UK, we definitely can't leave them out for recycling. I know that much. So I was hoping that, you know, Games Workshop has somewhere that I can take them, because I know they were running like a recycling themed thing with sprues. I think we touched upon it last stream as well. So yeah, it would be good to get rid of them there, because I have loads. And if there's a chance that they can be reused in any capacity, that would be good. Less plastic in the environment then. I've got to remember with some of these older sprues, the Cities of Death ones, they have these kind of little iron beams sort of tucked into the sprues, and they're quite easy to miss. So I've got to make sure that I clip them out. I know that's not doing any justice to seeing the actual piece. But they blend in incredibly well, and I've got to cut them off because I've used loads of them with this project. When I'm sort of bashing stuff, they are really good for filling gaps. When you get a better look at the gate section, you'll probably be able to identify a few of them as well. So, what do we have here? Frag Eye. I'm still searching for nice sheen birds, like a big flock with small birds, not like corridor ones. Ooh, well, 3D, some 3D prints might be good for you there, Frag Eye. I just chose the Sisters of Battle ones purely because they're holding the long parchment, and I think they look really cool. But if you're just looking for a flock of birds, like a flock of crows, 3D prints might be a way to go. Make sprue goo. That was a suggestion. That might have been you last time as well, Frag Guy. I could make some sprue goo. I just don't think I'd go through the amount of sprue goo I could make with this. I'd need like a vat. Michael Howe, we can't leave them out for recycling. Whoops. Do you know what? I will say that that's what I thought. Okay, that's what I think. So if you do find out different, Michael, please let me know, because I just assumed that this is not recyclable plastic. I can't remember where. You know, I've definitely got it in my head that they're not recyclable. So if they are, and I've just been making an ass of myself, please let me know if you find out. What else? Big Brain. Stick minis. I could make some Necrons, some Stickrons. Plenty of sprues to do that, Big Brain. Fragga, you can also use... you can also copy terrain pieces using blue stuff and sprue goo. I do actually have some blue stuff, Fragga. So it's been sitting in the studio somewhere for, well, since the beginning of the year. I seen someone on YouTube do a copy of, I think it was some Forge World icons. And I have actually been sent some by a chap named Tom, who I talked to on Instagram. He sent me a bunch of Titan pieces that I could use on the project, which was awesome, frankly. But because some of them are really cool, I don't want to, you know, I kind of want to make more of them. I want to copy a few of them so I can stick them in quite a few places, because the set has 2, and I'll use them up very quickly. So the idea is to use some of the blue stuff, and make some duplicates, basically. So basically you will see that at some point, Fraggai. You will see me using blue stuff for the first time. Ghost Rhino, I'm wondering if Games Workshop would make any new cults or new gangs for Necromunda Edition, Nurgle or Tzeentch cults. Ooh, Ghost Rhino, what do I think about that? I reckon with the cultists they have, the reason they're kind of bland in a way is so you can tie them to whichever faction. I mean, it's not beyond the pale that they would do faction specific, but in Necromunda, I don't know whether I can see it. It does make me wonder about scavies, though. You're bringing up Nurgle there and kind of like the bells that rings. So yeah, I don't know whether we'd get something like that first. Yeah, I just can't. I don't know. I can't really see it. I'd be surprised. Alex, would be nice to bring back sprues like bottles and cans, but is also probably expensive to ship back to China. Yeah, well, I don't know the sort of reusability behind these. I know, obviously, like you guys say, Fraggai specifically, you can make sprue goo, but I don't know what. Like, can you melt them all down and mold them? I'm not so sure. Big Brain, is blue stuff related to green stuff? I don't know whether I'd say it's related, Big Brain. It's kind of like you soften the putty, you warm up the putty, and then you can press a piece into it and it dries. You could use them together. I know that you can use blue stuff, then use green stuff, and kind of make a copy of whatever it is you're trying to reproduce. So they're related in that sense, at least. Ghost Rhino, rest in peace green stuff. Yeah, the whole green stuff thing is crazy. I got 5 rolls of it because I was worried about running out, so I kind of panic ordered a bunch. I'm really hoping that someone steps in and fills the void, because it's such I feel like it's such an important hobby tool to have in your arsenal, and it feels like not having it is it's gonna feel like a big loss for the hobby, and it will be. So hopefully, yeah, someone steps in and decides to make it, or make something similar at least. Fraggai, yes, you can. Yeah, so you can use green stuff with blue stuff, so they're related in that sense. Blue stuff you can heat up to make molds and heat up again and warm water. Yeah, blue stuff that's one of the things that drew me to it, is that you can just keep reusing it, which is great because it means I can churn out loads of extra pieces for the project. I still haven't taken the plunge and made any yet, so maybe we'll do that soon. Maybe that'll be something for stream, reproducing a few pieces. Ghost Rhino, a guy makes terrain out of sprues on YouTube. I think I might have seen the person you're on about, Ghost Rhino. I did see a while ago that there was someone making a spaceship out of sprues, like one of the Imperial ships, so that might be the same person. And fair play to him, that's, it's pretty cool. And you're using up the sprues, so kudos. Rover Mars Rover, is green stuff gone? Yes, kind of. A few months ago, I think the company that made green stuff, I don't know if they went bust or whether they just stopped trading, but they're not making it anymore. You can still buy it. I bought most of mine from Amazon. I know Amazon isn't necessarily a great place to buy it from, but yeah, you can buy big rolls for about £25 here. I bought a few of them, just because I want it to last, and I've used it a lot on this project, so I want a little store of it just in case I need it. Ghost Rhino, yeah, it's gone. It's gone. We all mourn green stuff. I think you'll probably still be able to get your hands on the stock that's left for quite a while, but if you're in doubt, it might be worth picking some up just in case. You don't have to go crazy like me and pick up 5 rolls of it, but I would probably recommend picking up some just to tide you over till hopefully it gets reproduced by some other company. Army painter green stuff. Not the one that I use, Fraggai. I've got, in fact, I can show you guys. So I pick. Oh, where's the the label is not on it, but I pick up green stuff in these sort of rolls. Ah, there's one. Okay, bear with me. So this stuff. Come on, camera. Basically, it's called Genolite green stuff, and you get a nice big roll of it. It's still a bit pricey, as I said. It's about £25, but it lasts, you know. And the thing is, I use it on fairly big things, so I use it on kind of chunky cables and other bits around the throne room, and it still lasts me. So it might be worth investing in. What I find with some of the smaller, you know, with some of the hobby company sort of shenanigans behind it, is they charge you about £6 and you get a slither. You know, Games Workshop used to do it. Obviously I can't speak about whatever Army Painter do. I don't know how much they sell it in what quantity. But specifically, I remember Games Workshop selling like a slither, like 2 sticks, and that will get you nowhere. So you're better off spending a bit more and getting a roll of it, really. Also, a little tip, one of my friends told me that you can keep it in the fridge to make it last longer, so that might be a little tip if you have some existing green stuff that you want to make last a little bit longer. I use sprues to magnetize my hammerhead. That sounds like a useful... Brain stopped? You see that? See that in real time, the brain stopped? Yeah, that sounds like a useful method of getting rid of them, big brain. Fu, I didn't know. Well, you know now, Fryer Guy. I'm quite surprised actually, because you sculpt a lot of green stuff, don't you? So I would get your hands on some, Fryer Guy. You don't want to be left in the dust there. Ah, fridge or freezer. I see. Okay, well, fridge or freezer, guys. That'll help you. That'll help your green stuff last a bit longer. Ghost Rhino. This guy is called Miniature Hobbyist. He made a really cool Necromunda terrain. I'll save that, Ghost Rhino, and I'll have a look. I'm not always so good at looking at what other people are creating on YouTube. It's not. There's no snobbery involved. It's just what I tend to watch when I'm sort of creating is documentaries and stuff, you know, and sometimes spooky stories. But I will have a look. When I do watch stuff, I watch. I mentioned before, I watch Eric's Hobby Workshop. Who else do I watch? I watch Zorp. I watch Zorp stuff. Crazy Middle Earth terrain stuff, and it's so close to the actual films that I can't fathom the sort of like how accurate you have to be when building it. But yeah, those are 2 I do watch. But I will check him out. I would check him out, Ghost Rhino. Big Brain, not only the cameras that break in the heat. Yeah, well, this one is struggling, Big Brain. What if we had like 2 shutdowns, is it, so far? It still doesn't feel as bad as Tuesday, because I feel like Tuesday we had quite a few freeze frames. So it seems to be just about holding up. Which means that if it gets cooler tomorrow, we should have no problems. Alex, maybe they don't dry out so fast in bigger lengths. I will say, Alex, that I still have had, with some of the batches that I bought previously, luckily none of these ones so far, that the edges, not the edges, the centre, obviously where the 2 different compounds meet, that tends to dry up a bit, so I just cut either side of that. So they're still kind of prone sometimes to drying out a little bit. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Frank, I just started, but I mix it so I have to look into alternatives like Tamiya Patti. I think you are going to have to, Fryer Guy, considering what you do with green stuff. I think you're going to have to see if you can find an alternative or get a little bit of a stock going. Thy Orange Banana, evening Imperium Nihilus. Can't stay too long as I've got to wake up early, but I hope you have a fantastic stream. Well, thank you for dropping by, Thy Orange Banana. Really appreciate that. It helps push the numbers up a little bit so YouTube knows to push it. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're... well, I hope the heat isn't as bad as it is where you are, as it is here, because we have been melting for like 2 hours straight now, it must be. I'm going to need a nice long shower after this stream. Engript, are you going to have the Warhound Titans in the throne room eventually? I am indeed, Engript. You've kind of just missed the conversation we had about that. But yeah, the idea is to have two. So I'm kind of waiting till I've done a little bit more in terms of painting for the project before I look into it. But what I would ideally like is a nice new plastic kit. That would be fantastic. It'd be a lot easier to work with than the resin Forge World model. Also, I'm guessing price-wise, we won't be matching the same price as a Forge World Warhound Titan, so that's another reason. But failing that, it'll probably be a 3D print, I suppose. But yes, we're going to have two eventually, and they're going to flank. The idea for the time being is going to be one either side of the gate. So yeah, I think they're going to look the part though, but still a little while off yet. Ghost Rhino. Eric's Hobby Workshop is fantastic. He is indeed Ghost Rhino. One of my favourite creators out there. His Titan is crazy. It's crazy. It's like 8 foot. You know, credit to him for undertaking a project like that, because I know he's been working on it for a long time now, basically. Big Brain, it will be 25 degrees at the hottest tomorrow. See, that's much more manageable, that is. I think when it breaks here and we're down to 28 degrees, it's going to feel a lot more manageable. I'm hoping that that will prove for a chilled Friday night stream and not another one that's like this, because this is untenable. It's too much. Let's try and cut a few more pieces off. I have a habit, I do have a habit with you guys, is like, I'll cut a few pieces and then you'll say something really interesting and I'll be like, oh, and then I'll just start rambling for a bit and forget that I'm supposed to be achieving something as well as streaming. Engrip, that sounds pretty awesome. I'm hoping for a plastic release too eventually. Yeah, I hope so, Engript. You know, it's needed. That and the kind of almost memeable plastic Thunderhawk that people have been talking about for years. I just think it'd be a step in the right direction, you know. Also, the plastic kits will be much easier to work with. You know, we won't have any of that resin dust. I feel like the detail will be there. You know, the detail on plastic molds has been fantastic for ages now, so it just needs to be done, really. I think they'd sell fantastically as well, providing they don't charge us any more than they would try and charge for you know, a Forge World Titan. In fact, if it was a few £100 cheaper, that would be great. And it would probably get a sale from me as well. Big Brain, 25 is terribly hot. I mean, it's still hot, Big Brain, but we have been sitting in our 30s here in the UK, so a 25 for us would be great. Because tomorrow, as I said, tomorrow's supposed to be 28, so that's still quite warm, but it's not in the 30s, so it should make for a much more manageable day. Frag, I watched this guy, Imperium Nihilus, he's pretty good, I would recommend. I appreciate that, Frag. I know you're always here, and you're always appreciated. All of you guys who take the time to tune in, you know, it's appreciated. Oh! Alex super chatted. Thank you for the super chat, Alex, that's awesome. Whoops, just a little for future building. Remember a little IPA pint tomorrow. Tomorrow night, my friend. Hugs from Denmark. I really appreciate that, Alex. That's very kind and very generous of you. All the donations will be pumped right back into the project. You know, as I mentioned earlier, one of our next port of calls will be, once we do a little bit more painting, will be the chamber behind the Golden Throne. So we will start working on the secret Emperor. I say secret, he's going to be the true Emperor. We're going to have a little room behind the throne, and all the donations will go towards that. So Alex and Fragai, thank you very much for your donations this evening. Thy Orange Banana, thank you. Sorry, I'm behind here. Let me see. Also, yeah, thank you, thank you very much, Fragai. As I said, like, you know, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I know that live streams aren't for everyone, so I do appreciate it when you guys stick around. And it's more so like a bit of encouragement for me, you know, because I get to hang out for a bit and just sort of do some hobby. So yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's been a fantastic stream, actually, guys. I'm really blown away. I am. We will just have to make the first few steps of the secret chamber together, I think. One of the things I'm definitely going to need to get my hands on will be a set of tiles, a set of Zone Mortalis tiles. So I'm hoping we can probably get them from a third-party retailer. They always seem to be, well, one, they're always sold out on the Games Workshop page, you know. Two, you can get them cheaper, third party, so we save like 20%. So I think we'll do that. And one of the other things, which I always kind of neglect to mention, is that we're going to need to make like a little table for it. But I think that can be fairly easily fabricated with some wood that I've got lying around, just so we can sort of raise it up this to the same size as the diorama. Yeah, but we'll take those steps together and we'll do a little bit of planning. And I am looking forward to it, but yeah, we're going to see a little bit more painting first before we take those steps. I know there's going to be one guy online who's like, you can't be making it bigger before you finished it. You can't be doing this. And I know it's bad, but it's going to get added either way, let's be fair. And let's not forget, we don't have a webway gate yet, so we've also got to address that. But I still don't know, guys, how I'm even going to do that. I think it's going to require a bit of 3D printing. You know, much like the reason that we got the gate done the way that we did is if I try to fabricate it myself, I don't think it would do the diorama as much justice as the way that it's obviously designed by Frankie. It looks fantastic. It looks like it fits in. So I feel like maybe we'd need to do a similar thing with a webway gate. Yeah. What have we got here? Quaka, is that the Golden Throne? It's a work in progress, Quaka. It is. It's 3 years worth of work so far. We still have a lot more to do. Most of it, we're kind of down to the painting now. So we're sort of adding details, doing, believe it or not, edge highlighting, painting cables. So it is, but it's not a finished Golden Throne just yet. Also, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us. At the moment, we're just kind of hanging out, melting in the UK. So we're just doing a bit of de-spruing, tidying up, making some room for me to move around the Golden Throne so that I can paint it more efficiently. Big Brain, is it a good mini? Is it a good mini if it can't double as a bludgeoning weapon? Is it? You could probably use some of those Horus Heresy tanks as a bludgeoning weapon. You could probably tuck them into a rugby sock and then have a go at someone with them. They're pretty beefy. Even the one that came out with the relaunch of Horus Heresy, what is it, the transport one? Kind of looks like a Land Raider. The name eludes me, but you could definitely do some damage with that. Quokka, by the Omnisci, it's massive. It's pretty big, Quokka. Obviously, it doesn't all fit on camera, unfortunately, but these streams do a good job of showing you just how big it is. So, you know, if you're coming here from Instagram or you've seen any of my other YouTube videos, it gives you more of an idea of just how big it is, because it is pretty big. And as I've said before, sometimes I feel like the videos that I make don't really do justice to the size of it. So, yeah, you can see that it's pretty big. Alex, always nice to talk to sane, nice persons that have knowledge of doing it their way, and I love it. Well, Alex, I really appreciate you tuning in, and I really appreciate you sort of donating as well. It's really nice as well, like from my perspective, to have people who you know, who want to hang around, talk about Warhammer, give their suggestions, sort of feedback, talk about lore, all that stuff. You know, it's just as cool for me to have like-minded people to be here for the stream. So, you know, Don't forget that. It works both ways. Frag yeah, the subscribers here are really chill. Well, all of you guys have been like really chill. I've had no issues with anyone on a stream at all. Like everyone has been fantastic. And I know it's kind of like blowing smoke up your ass, but it's great, you know? It's great to have like-minded people, as Alex says. Big Brain, France will lose tomorrow. I hope so, Big Brain. I hope Norway knocks it out of the park. Then you can turn up to Sunday's stream with a big, big grin. Quokka, you don't need blunt weapons, you use Drakari as stabbing. You do. Drakari and balustrades that we mentioned earlier. Anyone who plays on this, I'm going to have to remember to mention this as well because they are actually a hazard. But anyone who plays on this is going to have to be careful when they bend down to pick up a model or look at lines of sight, because these little bits, I wonder if you can just about see, these pointy bits will take your eye out. They will, and I've caught myself on them a few times, so you know, they're pretty dangerous. Chris, I still got some lead ones. Dragon Ogre, that's a heavy one. Yeah, you could certainly do damage with the lead miniatures. I've had conversations before about the old lead dreadnoughts that we used to have, and if you would drop one of those off the table, and if you were unlucky enough that it landed on your foot, it does some damage. You know, it's a heavy piece of lead, so you're kind of you're in trouble either way, because if it hits the floor, it just explodes into pieces, and if it hits your foot, you need a new foot. Quokka, and I did stumble on your stream by accident right now. Well, that's even better, Quokka. I like the fact that YouTube is deciding to push it a little bit. I was talking about earlier how the stream seems to have got progressively better. So we've had more people joining, more people sort of learning about the project, coming for the hobby hangout sort of stuff. So I'm glad to hear that YouTube is maybe not promoting it 100%, but it's getting it out there. Chris, stabbing those first plastic goblin spear, man. Yeah, well, anything from like fantasy stuff as well, I remember jabbing me. But heavy dreadnoughts are what I remember the most. What is them? Oh yeah, so yeah, Big Brain here was not involved in the hobby when the miniatures were metal, were you, Big Brain? That's a fairly new revelation for you. Back when things were were metal and heavy. They'd also chip as well. You'd paint them up, and if you didn't give them a good coat of varnish, you'd drop them and they'd chip. Chris, in the beginning lead, and then it became a mixture of... yeah, it did, didn't it? So it was... I don't think they even used lead when I got into the hobby, but I used to buy like old collections back when I was a kid, just to pick up extra miniatures. And that's how I kind of acquired lead heavy dreadnoughts. But yeah, they kind of moved on to a mixture. There is a good... there is a good documentary about this on YouTube. And I'm not going to remember the name on the spot, am I? But it's one of the designers from back in the day talking about the stuff that Warhammer was made of, and the kind of the move over to aluminium. But it was quite an interesting story. It was. If I can remember in future, I will put it up, because I recommend watching it. I just can't. My brain fails me on the spot sometimes. Most of the time. I've lost my own chat. Sorry, guys. I've blessed my Drakari Raider with my own blood a few times, says Quokka. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Those Drakari bits, they're all spikes. You know, you're gonna jab yourself once or twice. Alex, I am removing a bit of the bolts from my fell blade. Now I have a shadow sword. It should be a Dark Angels one. My hobby blade shivers in my hand. How much can I remove? Oh, you're rolling the dice each time there, Alex, aren't you? As long as you're cutting away from yourself. Just be careful with that one. Big Brain, YouTube loves consistency. I agree with you, Big Brain. I think it does. And you are one of my wingmen here because you remind me to make sure that I'm looking at all comments and not just the top ones. So I appreciate that, Big Brain. But we're learning, and I feel like the content of the stream seems to get a little bit better. It might not from you guys' point of view, but I feel like I'm doing a little bit better with it. Quokka, I believe I've seen one of your videos or two now that I think about it. And yeah, I mean, I'm watching a fair amount of Warhammer mini painting stream from time to time when I find a stream. Well, yeah, you might well have done, Quokka. I've done a few videos. I can't say I've done a huge amount of videos, but I've definitely done some documenting the project. But we've kind of moved into streaming a little bit more now. Just because I find I'm kind of a bit more motivated to work on things and hang out. I have talked about before how I have one friend who's into Warhammer, so being able to hang out and just talk about Warhammer and do my hobby whilst I'm live streaming is quite enjoyable. So yeah, you're probably going to see more of these moving forward. And if you are enjoying it, feel free to subscribe to the channel if you want to see some more. A bit of shameless self-promotion there. Rhino, do you think that Drazar is a fallen Phoenix Lord of the Striking Scorpions? You've lost me there, Rhino. Are you replying to... Oh, do you think that? Ah, sorry. Oh, I'm not sure about the lore behind Drazar, if I'm honest, Ghost Rhino. Used to have a 3rd edition Dark Eldar Codex as a kid, but I used to just look at the pictures. So it's anyone's guess. Big Brain, it isn't a good build. It isn't a good build if it doesn't draw blood. That is a valid point, Big Brain. This one's drawn blood. It's also drawn a lot of ire and frustration, especially when I dropped that backboard earlier in the year or last year. I dropped the throne backboard and it just obliterated, and that was... it happened in slow motion. It was one of those moments where I put it somewhere really stupid, knocked it off, slow motion, it falls on the floor, and then I'm picking up like 100 pieces. Quokka, unless there's multiple people doing Golden Throne on YouTube, I don't think there is at the moment, but people are always welcome to attempt it. I do not own the monopoly of Golden Thrones. I've seen some other dioramas though. Meandering Shade is an account on Instagram. He done a version of the Golden Throne and it was fantastic. So if you want to see some other versions of the Golden Throne, check out Meandering Shade. His is a smaller one, albeit, but it's the detail and the storytelling is phenomenal. Also, you all know my other favourite is the Coronation of Guilliman by Baharoth Cry of Old Paint. That is a fantastic diorama. He is an artist. I'm not sure he's working on anything at the moment that I've seen, but yeah, he is also worth checking out. Blood, Sweat and Tears. It always is. It's definitely sweat at the moment, Quokka. Definitely sweat at the moment. Hence why we're not doing any painting. We're only doing de-spruing today, because if I am to get anywhere closer than I am to this now, I'm gonna get sweat all over it. It's that bad. I'm lucky this camera is forgiving. It is. It's not getting all of the detail, so you can't see just how soaked I am. Alright, let's try and get another few done, I think. What time are we looking at? 10:30. I think we can get a few more in before the end of the stream. I think at least 2. Unfortunately, tomorrow is a morning that I also have to be up early, but we will also have another stream tomorrow. For those of you who are available, of course. No obligation whatsoever, but I'm going to come on and I'm going to run a stream and talk about what we see in the summer preview show, basically. Hopefully we'll be talking about a lot of new terrain, not just the 3D printed ones. I'll be over the moon if I can talk to you guys. I'll be over the moon if I can talk to you guys about some Necromunda terrain, basically. That would really make my weekend. Ghost Rhino, fun fact, mandrakes have 4-armed demigod named Kera Druakar, the Decapitator, who is the closest thing to a god to the shadowy subfaction of the mandrakes. I did not know that. That's an interesting bit of Drakari lore there, Ghost Rhino. What you have reminded me of is how goofy the 3rd edition mandrakes used to look like. That and the grotesques, they also used to look pretty funny as well. They're quite intimidating, I think. They're kind of like zombie, ugly, very ugly zombies. But the mandrakes I always found were a little bit goofy looking. Big Brain. I can only find this guy called Imperium Nihilus. Oh, I see. I'm top of the page now on my Big Brain. I've buried them. I've buried them under all the content that I've made. I assure you they are out there though. They're probably not on YouTube, I don't think, all of them. I say that. Meandering Shade might have a video, but I don't know whether he has the same name. Makes me think that I still need to find some bits to kitbash Gilliman as the Emperor, lol. They're pretty good. Pretty good parts to kitbash an Emperor with. I ended up using his power feat, which some people weren't entirely impressed with. But I did use them. I used, I was going to say I used his head, but I didn't. I actually ended up using Abaddon the Despoiler's head, to which I chopped off his nose, and I gave him like a skeletal looking nose. But I feel like his face works quite well. The main issue was I was somewhat limited to Emperor scale miniatures. I didn't want to use any of the resin Forge World Primarchs, just because I don't think they fit the bill really. But yeah, in my opinion, I'm quite happy with how he's turned out, but he needs to be painted. He needs his paint job to be finished, because he's sat up there with brown robes and they're supposed to be red. So we need to get back and finish that. Need to be up by 16. By 16? By 6? Alex, could it by any chance end up Games Workshop? I know I have been there before. It should. Listen up, Games Workshop. What do you mean, Alex? Could it end up there? Do you know that's funny enough? That's actually a question that I also get asked a fair bit. Is would you display it in Warhammer World? I would, I guess, when it's done. But I don't think that'll be the case. I think they've got their own sort of diorama team, and also this would take up a lot of space. But hell, if the opportunity ever, ever arose, I would. Because it also gives you guys a chance to look at it. I mean, either way, I'm going to try and find a way that we can get it into a public view that you guys can come and see it. But Warhammer World would be great because loads of you make the pilgrimage anyway, so you'd be able to see it there. Darth Vapor, don't do it. You'll have to build 1,000 Psychers a day just to keep it working. Well, Darth Vapor, I'm still going to have to build Psychers in some capacity because they need to be, they need to be on the diorama. They do. So I'm going to have to make some anyway. I just need to come up with a good way of doing it. He's a greedy one, that Emperor. 1,000 a day seems a little bit excessive. Yeah, Chris, I will second what Chris says. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please leave a like, because again, it tells YouTube all the right things, so it pushes it out there to more people. Thank you in advance. Quacker, oh yeah, 3rd edition Mandrake are goofy. They are. If you go back and look at pictures of 3rd edition Mandrakes, they are really goofy looking. And I did have a bunch of them at one point. I think when I got out of the hobby, I just offloaded all of my stuff. I think to some extent the Mandrakes are still a little bit goofy looking now, because they're kind of almost, what do you call them, like Sylvan, like kind of wood elf looking, I find a little bit. I did expect Games Workshop to go down a bit of a more grotesque sort of theme with Dark Eldar when they remade them in plastic, but they were kind of a bit more careful about it, I find. Yeah, of course it is. Of Of course it is. Sorry, big brain. Your big brain, my non-existent, non-working brain. Quokka, the biggest issue I have with my kit bash is finding a good head for a living emperor. Long head with the leafy crown, you know. I have built the idea for the claw, which will look a bit more Night Lordy, but lol. You just gotta find what works. If it involves a bit of trial and error, Quokka, just go for it. I've got a laurel that I used for my emperor, but I haven't put it on his head, so I kind of made a little stand that sits by him, and the laurel sits on that. Yeah, so that's kind of the way that I pictured it. Soul Hunter. I would love to have this as a table for a tabletop simulator. Well, I can't say I can do that, Soul Hunter, but at some stage there will be a battle report held on it, so you might be able to tune in and watch one or two fairly decent battle reports. Hopefully in the not too distant future. I'm okay with sacrificing 1,000 human psychers. I'm okay with all the monkeys sacrificing themselves. Yeah, that's fair enough. That sounds about right for an Eldar collector, big brain. It is a tad greedy, I'd say, 1,000 a day. Does he really need 1,000? Can it not just be a few hundred? But yeah, either way, we still need to come up with a way to depict all the unfortunate psychers that are going to be making their way to the, what do we call them? The feeding tubes, let's say. Alex, yeah, but those are... Beside this, you can't beat a single warrior. The mindset that goes into this is stalwart. Quokka, or I could just use the helmeted Primarch option and go with... helmeted Primarch and go with the lazy option. It's worth experimenting, Quokka. Just see whatever works best, to be fair. That's what this whole build has essentially been, is one big trial and error test. You know, I can't say that everyone agrees with some of the decisions I've made for this build. But at the end of the day, as long as you are happy with it, that's all that matters. So go for it. Darth Vader liked that one. Quokka, I thought it was 10,000 psychers a day. Now that's an interesting point, because I don't know whether this was something that got changed in the lore, because I think I remember someone else mentioning that wasn't it supposed to be 10,000 a day? So I don't know whether that was a little sort of discrete change in the lore. I feel like 1,000 seems a lot more reasonable. I know that Warhammer 40k itself is like a very fantastical, you know, suspend your disbelief sort of universe. But 1,000, I feel like it fits the criteria better than 10,000. Big Brain, 40k is super lethal. I don't think this is the best terrain set. All the sharp bits are lethal. I think a lot of the new terrain sets don't get made as pointy now. I'm pretty sure it's one of the reasons that we will never see the Cities of Death ever reprinted is because of how much of a hazard those balustrades are. One thing I noticed, if you look at old gaming boards and sort of dioramas from Warhammer World that they used to have that were built from Cities of Death scenery, a lot of the towers have the spikes cut off the top because, you know, people leaning in to get their miniatures. You're just asking for trouble, really. So I think that's a reason we're never going to see them reprinted. Quokka, will you add some clown to the diorama, Harlequins? I will, actually. I think Big Brain here is potentially working on a Harlequin for the diorama. So yes, you will see one. It'll be a singular Easter egg, just like our Alpha Legion, our little Nurglings, and our Assassin. We're going to have a little bit of fun with it, you know, put some other characters in the throne room just sort of hidden away. But yes, the answer is yes, you will see some clowns. I was going to say besides the one sat on the Golden Throne, but I feel like the Inquisition would be after me pretty quickly if I said such a derogatory and defamatory statement. Frag Eye, I think it was 1,000, now it's 10,000. Okay, either way. I mean, I guess it's not too much of a big thing, really, is it? There's billions and billions and billions of people in the Warhammer universe, so they can probably get away with both, can't they? Soul Hunter. Due to the failing of the throne, it has been steadily increasing in the cost of psychers and will fail in the next 100 years. Yeah, I've heard about the failing Soul Hunter. I know that we're gradually moving towards a failure. You can hear all those tech priests panicking in Binaric. Yeah. So it does make sense that the number's going up. Make sure I'm not missing anyone there. Quokka, hell yeah. Darth Vapor. It looks really good. I'm sure Big E would love spending thousands of years on it. I've got to hope that it has a cushion. He's been sat on it, well, in my depiction of the Golden Throne, he's been sat on it for a few thousand years. So we are not talking here about the current setting for 40k, I don't think. So not up to date with the timeline. In my mind, this is, well, I'd say quite a few thousand years past the heresy. So, you know, things are, as I've said, like things are starting to go awry. You know, things aren't working. Well, everyone's starting to get a little bit religious and preachy. So that's the way I see it. Also, the reason why my Emperor is not a completely desiccated corpse yet. Big Brain, I haven't been to Oslo yet. Neither have I, Big Brain. It's on my list. Although you live in Norway, so kind of surprises me. Ghost Rhino, yeah, the Great Rift opened up and had to increase the amount of psychers to feed the Emperors 4 to 5k a day. That makes sense. I mean, it checks out, doesn't it? If the Golden Throne is failing over time, they want to keep the man fed. Quokka, quick, I'll distract the Inquisition. Say anything, anything and everything you want. I don't think that's a good idea, Quokka. I think possibly you could be working for the Inquisition. How do I know I can trust you? You've only turned up on today's stream. Your name isn't even green yet, Quokka. How can I trust you? Ghost Rhino, trillions of people. Yeah, exactly. Not billions and billions and billions, trillions of people. So it's definitely within the realm of possibility for the amount of people out there. Soul Hunter, so about M37. Yeah, I'd say so, Soul Hunter, roughly that. I wanted it kind of around the time of the Age of Apostasy, I suppose. I can't quite remember if that's M37, but I really like the idea of the ecclesiarchy sort of starting to take over power-wise, and the Emperor slowly just not fading into the background, because obviously he is an integral character, but since he can't speak or enact his will, you know, I wanted him to gradually be getting weaker. Frag Eye, have you read the Vaults of Terror series, Nihilus? I haven't, Frag Eye. I think you may have mentioned this before. I do have one of the books from the Vaults of Terror. Oh, excuse me. Sorry guys, I'm getting text through my laptop here. No, I haven't yet, Frag Eye, but I do intend to read them. I think you mentioned that it was a pretty good story, so I did make a note of that. Apologies for that text. Big Brain, I need to buy material. I have a... I meant to buy material. I have family in Oz. Oh, I see. I see, Big Brain. Trust me, I'm Alfarius. Oh, that's even worse, Quokka. You've infiltrated the stream and you're a representative of the Dark Gods. I think you need to be ushered out by a few custodies here. Chris, it's been cleaned up and modified already a bit. Oh crap, spoiler. That doesn't surprise me too much, Chris, to be fair. That doesn't surprise me. And the thing is, one of the benefits to placing this project in the time that it is I don't have to keep up with all the current lore, really. I am giving him more cables based on the Armageddon trailer just because I think it looks cool, but I don't necessarily need to keep up with every new developing piece of lore, which I think is probably for the better. What else do we have? Darth Vader. Okay, trust you, but do you trust yourself? Not really. Sometimes I see Chaos miniatures and I'm like, that would look good. That would look good. So no, I don't trust myself. Who's to say I don't work on a mirror of the Golden Throne after I finish this? Why don't I just make a tower of skulls with a throne on it? You never know. Alex, that's the woke religion these times. Oh, it's pointy. I better make a complaint to the company. Try and lose the nap and get a life. You just got to be careful where you stick your eyes, Alex. Huffle of Puffs, you're Alfarius? Then it's all going according to plan. I hope I'm not. We'll certainly have our little Alpha Legion guy in here. Probably that nifty little guy with the sniper. He's the one I got my eyeball on. So, you know, I'm going to be a heretic to some capacity because I'm going to paint up a Chaos Space Marine. But don't tell anyone that. You keep that to yourself. Yeah. Oh, you guys are arguing over who's Alfarius in the comments section. Big Brain, if we are Custodes, then you are the Emperor. I definitely am not the Emperor. I am enacting the will of the Emperor. I feel like he talks to me psychically, and then I enact his will. Technically, Big Brain, you are one of my Custodes. You are a channel member at Custodes tier, so you are one of the Custodes. But I am certainly not the Emperor. I'm not Malkador either, though. I'm not a pile of ash. Soul Hunter, it was the 36th millennium for the Reign of Blood and the Age of Apostasy. Okay, Soul Hunter, so I think roughly then, I mean, I haven't got an exact point in time that I'm thinking, but, you know, 36, 37, oh no, did I do the hand thing when I said that? Ignore that, you guys forget you've seen that. Yeah, but so roughly about that time frame, I think, Soul Hunter. Chris, just listen to the old 30k lore and go from there. I will do, Chris. I've got to expand my lore horizons. I think what I'm going to do from now on, as discussed earlier, is start listening to some more lore while I'm working on the project off stream. So I think that's what we're going to do, just so I can gain a little bit more knowledge. Quokka, Alpha Legion is so good at being chaos. They're actually loyalists that truly believe they're heretics. They are heretically loyal or loyally heretical. Oh my god, what a tongue twister, Quokka. What a tongue twister. They are very mysterious, I will give them that much. Do we really know what their plan is? Not a clue. Are we going to know why mine is in the throne room? No, we're not. His purposes could be nefarious, they could not be nefarious. We just need to find a decent placement for him. Chris, looking at him, he is more Malkador. Do you know what? I cannot argue with you on that point, Chris. Although I don't think Malkador turned into a puddle of sweat. I'm pretty sure he was a pile of ash, but with the heat at the moment, it could well happen. I'm definitely feeling like soupy and sweaty and horrible this evening, but the stream has been fantastic and you guys have been awesome. So yes, I cannot thank you enough for being company on this stream. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's stream so we can yeah, talk about some releases basically. I am going to have to sign off very soon because I need to go to bed. I've got to be up at 6 in the morning and we're nearly 11 o'clock. So yeah, I think I'll finish this sprue and say my thank yous and goodbyes and catch up with you all on the next one basically. Big Brain's giving coordinates now by the looks of things. Big Brain's got an airstrike incoming. Quokka, I bet not even the Tzeentch or the 1K Suns don't know if the Alpha Legion is on their side or not. I don't think anyone knows, Quokka. I feel like I can compare the Alpha Legion to Cypher. I feel like no one knows what those people are doing. No one knows what the Alpha Legion's plan is, and no one knows what Cypher is really doing. It's a bit of a mystery. Oh, and Legion of the Damned are a big mystery as well. You know. Fingers crossed for Legion of the Damned tomorrow. Legion of the Damned kill team, come on. Legion of the Damned kill team. Cross your fingers with me. I'll be talking non-stop if that's what we get tomorrow. If it's Exodites, Big Brain will be talking non-stop. But if it's Legion of the Damned, I will be. Oh, and if it's New Terrain, I will be as well, so, you know. Fingers crossed. Alex, so mine is Dark Angels. Do you trust us, or are we at hands? Well, Alex, do I... Well, I trust you. Dark Angels, do I? I think you've got a little bit more repenting to do first. But we're getting there. We're getting there. You're hunting the fallen. You're doing your job. You are giving some of them mercy, though, from what I've heard. So... We'll leave that open-ended till the next stream, Alex. Hufflepuff Puffs. Depends. Are you going to leave us during a very important battle with no explanation? Yeah, Hufflepuff Puffs asks an important question there. Are you going to find something else that's interesting to do and leave us? Because if so, Alex, we may have a problem. Alright, guys. We are getting to that point. I think I'm going to call it a night. Thank you very much for a fantastic stream. I think we've been streaming for like 2.5 hours now. Something like that. Yeah, I will be streaming tomorrow from probably about 9 o'clock tomorrow, I think. Just because I'm going to watch the summer stream first and then do my own stream. Yeah, thank you guys for joining. If you did enjoy the stream, obviously you can help me out by liking the video. If you want to, you can also become a channel member. I also have some affiliate links. It all goes towards the project. It all goes towards helping me get materials and paints and all the other stuff I need. And I really appreciate it. But other than that, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. And I will see you very, very soon. Let me just check I haven't got anything. Stream's buffering. Yeah. Thanks all for coming. Yeah, there we go. It might play up. Just the last thing there, Quokka. Sometimes the stream lags a little bit. I've had a few technical difficulties, but it does eventually get there. Everyone else, thank you once again, and I will see you all in the next stream. You guys are awesome.